Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I had my breakfast. It was so delicious. I forgot that I had picked up a nice big slab of nice bacon. I realized that the bacon that I buy here in Japan, the way whenever you buy the long bacon, the regular long bacon, it has almost no flavor. So basically, what I have to do is add, I always put pepper on my bacon anyway, but I have to add some salt to it. When I do that, oh, it tastes so good. So I found a way to buy some really good bacon in a big package in one of the local supermarkets. And it costs so much cheaper, actually, than buying it at Costco, believe it or not. Costco's got some pretty good bacon, but for the price, you just can't beat it. And I don't have to go all the way to Hiroshima City to get it. Of course, I'm going to be living in Hiroshima City during the winter. For those of you who may not know that yet, I am living out in an old house in the countryside of East Hiroshima. But this house has basically no insulation under the floors or in the walls, and it almost has no walls. It has sliding doors. It's and I don't mean like sliding glass doors or modern doors. These are just wooden frames with some loose rattled glass, and on the inside there are no walls. It's just shoji doors, you know, those paper doors, right? Japanese paper doors. And then the Fusuma doors, which are like an upgraded shoji door. It's thicker, and they have fabric and stuff like that. But it's too cold during the wintertime for me, so I'm going to be moving to Hiroshima at least during the wintertime, and I'll be broadcasting the games from there, all of my live play-by-plays, from November. So I'm looking forward to that, just to be in a nice, clean environment with indoor plumbing. That's right, I do not have indoor plumbing here. I have an outdoor sink and an outdoor shower, but that doesn't work very well during the winter, especially when it's -8 to -10 degrees Celsius, which is about close to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. It's too cold. Excuse me. I did make myself a nice hot cup of coffee. And I've got some more hot water in my thermos right here, so I'm prepared for this game. Let's take a look. Right now, we got a little bit of pregame stuff going on. The warm-ups are complete. The teams are not on the field right now. They're about to head out. Kirby is taking the field right now. As soon as we mention it, they start running onto the field. George Kirby is the pitcher today for the Mariners. This game is in Seattle. The Mariners are the home team. Detroit Tigers are going to be batting first. They're going to be batting first. I'll get it out. Forgive me, I got up around 4:30 this morning, and I didn't sleep a whole lot last night, actually. But I will tell you this, the starting lineup for the Tigers, Gleyber Torres is going to be on the mound starting it off, the second baseman. Kerry Carpenter is the second batter, the right fielder, and the left fielder, Riley Green, will be batting third. After that, batting cleanup is Torkelson, then Keith, Dingler, McKinstry, Baez, and then Meadows rounding it out, batting ninth. Troy Melton is on the mound today for the Tigers. He'll be up in the bottom of the first. Looking forward to a good game today. The Yankees-Blue Jays game was something else. Did you guys and gals see that one? Because the Yankees, they fell behind early with a couple of solo homers, but they really weren't that far behind. It was just a 2-run deficit. And after that, for several innings, they basically kept Toronto from really getting many guys on base. For multiple innings, the Blue Jays only had they only had about 4 or 5 hits, 2 of those being the home runs, and they didn't have much base action. There were no walks until way later in the game. But the Yankees were staying in the game until the 7th inning. It just started to fall apart. They gave up 4 runs and then 4 more in the 8th, and they lost 10-1. It was a crazy game. But now we're looking forward to this game here. The first pitch is going to be on the way in just a second from George Kirby. Torres is at the plate. Here comes the toss. 98 miles an hour, just a tad outside. Ball 1. Welcome to the broadcast from Hiroshima, Japan. East Hiroshima. 1 ball, no strikes to Torres. 98, upper outer corner, barely misses again. 2-0. Tight zone so far. If you have not liked the live stream, I'd appreciate you doing that early right now. Let's get some more people in here to watch this game. How about that? Here's the toss. 97 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. Strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm feeling a little bit more energy. I hope that this lasts all the way through the game because I was starting to feel a little burnt out, but getting that bacon and that roast beef and those eggs. 98 up and in, swing and a miss, strike 2, and the count's even. I even ate a handful of corn snacks, lightly salted corn snacks, and now I'm sipping on some black coffee, some Japanese black coffee. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Torres swings and misses, 99 miles an hour, and the crowd goes crazy. Like they just won the World Series. They'll calm down a little bit. First inning is always kind of amped for the home crowd. Kerry Carpenter comes to the plate with 1 out, nobody on. Got about a dozen people watching right now. A baker's dozen. Appreciate you joining. Here comes the next pitch. The first one to Kerry Carpenter. 99 up and in, ball 1. George Kirby throwing some heat right now. He's got 1 strikeout. Here comes the next toss. Swing and a miss. 89 mile per hour slider. A little bit of break in the bottom of the zone. 0-2 is the count. Who are you guys and gals going for? If you have the ability or the opportunity, leave it in the chat. I'd like to see. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. 98 fouled away on the third base side and off into the crowd. 1-2. My personal picks for this series and the Yankees series with the Blue Jays are, I believe Seattle will move on and the Blue Jays will move on. 99 miles an hour, up and away, swing and a miss. Another strikeout. That's back-to-back Ks for Kirby. George K. Hey, Gregory, good to see you again. By the way, Gregory, I had an idea earlier. You said that you like baseball cards. I'd like to send you a postcard, if I may. I should be able to put a baseball card with it. I can give you a Hiroshima Carp baseball card. If you'd like to get one from me, look up my profile on my main page. Get my email address, send me an email, and let me know where to send it. Green hits one into center field, and that'll be down for a hit. On the 0-1 pitch, he hits it on the thick part of the bat. Nice solid sound. So we got 1 runner on with 2 outs for George Kirby and the Mariners. Yeah, definitely don't post your address here. Obviously. But I have to say that because I've seen people do that before. They're like, oh, okay, here you go. Well, yeah, you don't want that public. But if you send it to me, I will send you a postcard. I picked up some extra postcards and I want to send a few out to some of my subscribers and members. And I've got this little baseball card and an extra little bonus. Maybe I can wrap it with my postcard and send it to you. Here's the toss. 1-0 pitch. He calls that one a strike, just a tad above the zone on the 98-mile-per-hour fastball, but I don't know. We'll see if the umpire sticks with this zone all day long. He expanded it a little bit there. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Torkelson at the plate. Whoa, way up high. 99 miles per hour. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 strikes. Yeah, sure, no problem. I have plenty of good cards. Colton Gordon rookie card. Yeah, that's a good one. Colton Gordon might have himself a really nice future. He's got a lot of talent. 89, swing and a miss. 2-2. Hey, JD, welcome back. Good to see you too. Let's go Mariners, he says. Yeah, I don't really have a dog in this hunt, but I just don't see how the Tigers can beat the Mariners. But like I said before in the other stream, anything can happen. You never know. Here's the 2-2 pitch. The crowd is on their feet. Here's the pitch from Kirby. Right in there, strike 3. Yeah, he took it. Torkelson didn't like it, but that was right on that upper outer corner. Rung him up. 1 hit for the Tigers in the first, and 3 strikeouts. Kirby throwing some massive heat. How many pitches did he have? Let's see here. Kirby had 16 pitches in that inning. A little high. 11 in the zone, but he got 3 strikeouts. Troy Melton will be on the mound in just a moment for the Tigers. He's going to be facing Randy Rosarena, Cal Raleigh, and Julio Rodriguez. The Mariners lineup continues as follows. Batting cleanup is Josh Naylor, Jorge Polanco, Eugenio Suarez, Canzone in the DH spot batting 7th, Robles batting 8th, and J.P. Crawford batting 9th. That's interesting that they've got Crawford batting 9th. Has he really slipped so much? This is the kind of lineup. It's very difficult if half of this lineup is hot today on any day against any team. If just half of this lineup is hot, then they can score a ton of runs. Gregory says, I cannot wait until next year. Yeah, I already miss it, but at the same time, I'm happy to have the break. If the Astros played all year round, I don't think I could take that. I'd have to get somebody to sit in for me sometimes because the MLB games are actually quite, the schedule is quite grueling. I can only imagine what it's like for the players, but even for me. Of course, part of it is being in Japan because when they do the early afternoon games, I have to get up really early. The earliest game I've ever done for the Astros was around 12:30, just after midnight. 12:30 a.m. I didn't even go to bed that night. I just stayed up and did the game and then went to bed. But I think that's just ridiculous. They've been talking more and more lately about trying to get MLB away from afternoon games, especially during the week. I mean, on the weekends, it's kind of understandable because it's the weekend. But having afternoon games during the time of day that people can't possibly watch, can't possibly go to, it's ridiculous. Here's the pitch. Fouled off by Rosarena, 97, right in there. Excuse me. Troy Melton on the mound. First pitch is a strike, 0-1. Here comes a pitch. A little below the zone, 1-1. JD says, I believe the Mariners won 4 of 6 over the Tigers during the season. It's probably accurate, JD. I would believe you. Whoa, that's ripped out into left field. Oh, that looked a lot harder than it was. It did get to the warning track right at the edge of the grass. But that was a ripped line drive by Rosarena and caught out in left field for out number 1. And that brings up the little dumper. The little dumpy. Here's the first pitch to Raleigh. He crushes it to right field all the way out to the line. Is that fair? It is just foul. Right in the corner. The very first pitch, he ripped it out there. Look how close that was. Maybe a foot. A foot foul. The pitcher's like, ugh. Cal Raleigh also has that adult look, if you know what I mean. I won't say anything else about it. Very similar to the way Jacob Melton used to look. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 89-mile-per-hour splitter. The count is 0-2. But yeah, somebody mentioned to me that maybe instead of doing the Rockets games and the Texans games, I could just take a break with my channel for my health. But actually, doing the Rockets and the Texans games is less stressful than doing all the Astros games alone. It's crazy. The splitter outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Raleigh. The Astros schedule is grueling, even for me. Here's the pitch. 86 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone, fouled off. Count remains 1-2. I wake up in the morning and I grab some coffee. Here comes a 1-2. Line drive up the middle, and that will be a base hit. Not a very hard hit ball. Seemed like it was off the thin part of the bat, but there was nobody in that spot, so Raleigh sneaks on base with 1 out. Yeah, he kind of got it off the thin part of the bat. That brings up Julio Rodriguez. J-Rod. He bounces that to third. It might be a double play. Raleigh is throwing at first. And is he safe at first? They call him safe. The Tigers might want to look at it. Are they going to challenge? It doesn't look like they're going to call it. It doesn't look like they're going to challenge it. Yeah, he barely beat it. Woo, that was close, but he got it. J-Rod is a quick guy. 2 outs. Josh Naylor at the plate. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. Ball 1. Yeah, JD, I agree with you. If it's too much, it's too much. Take care of your health. But to be honest, you know, having the break from the baseball season will be really nice for me. Doing the Astros games is like a marathon because it's just go, 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 you know, 20, 25 to 28 games in a month. And it would be okay if all of those games were between like 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. for me. But, of course, they have those afternoon games between like 1 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning. Look at those sparkly shoes. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Outside, 3-0. So Melton Man, that once again, I feel like, wow, am I watching the Astros here? Because they get 2 outs and then they start to struggle a little bit, right? A lot of the Astros bench pitchers were doing that this year. 98 miles an hour out of the zone. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Josh Naylor. 2 on. Jorge Polanco comes to the plate with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Is that Troy Melton pitching or Jacob Melton? Well, yeah, JD, I was going to say that if I do all of the Texans games and all of the Rockets games, it will be between 15 and 18 games in a month. That is so much better than doing the 30 games a month basically for the Astros. I mean, I call it 30 games a month, but it's not far off from that. 0-1 is the count to Polanco. Here comes the toss. That's hit hard to center field. It's pretty deep. Carpenter out there, and he's got it. Meadows and Carpenter converge. Polanco put it deep all the way to the warning track in center field. A couple of deep drives there off of Melton and a couple of base runners, a couple of hits, or rather one hit and a walk. But he gets out of it. We go to the top of the second, 0-0. Both teams with 1 hit. No errors, just goose eggs for the score. All right. Let's see what's going on with the Dodgers-Phillies game. Phillies were up 3-0 early on. I haven't looked at the score recently. Oh, no, the Dodgers came back and took the lead 5-3. That's absolutely terrible. Come on, Phillies. It's in the bottom of the 7th. With the Dodgers up 5-3. Come on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's no good. I'm not happy. That's not good. I'm not happy. Yeah, you're right, JD. That's the nature of MLB. The schedule is just too grueling. But the other day, I heard some podcasters talking about some things that just made perfect sense. Number 1, too many games in a season. Way too many games. I agree. Number 2, they said showing the games early in the afternoon is just stupid. It should end. I agree. On Saturdays and Sundays, having some afternoon games makes sense. But during weekdays, who exactly do they think is going to be watching those games? And by the way, they showed video footage and some pictures of the Cleveland Guardians ballpark during the wild card series. They actually, they don't have a huge ballpark. If you compare the size of some of these ballparks to football stadiums, some of these places don't even hold a third of the fans that the big stadiums can hold. Like, for example, Tiger Stadium is a college football stadium, and it holds over 100,000 people. And some MLB stadiums hold like 30,000. That's ridiculous. You could take 3 of those and put those inside of one football stadium. But anyway, even though the stadium sizes are not that big, even in Cleveland, it's not that huge, but it wasn't sold out. Why is that? For a wild card series, a chance for them to get into the playoffs, why wasn't it packed? Well, that's easy, because it was early in the afternoon. How many people are, they're going to have to take off of work. It's just ridiculous. 97 miles an hour right in there. Colt Keith is at the plate facing George Kirby. 0-1 is the count. But anyway, I agree with their points. I think it's stupid. They need to get rid of those weekday afternoon games. That's hit out into right field. Another single for the Tigers. Colt Keith is on base. Leadoff runner for the Tigers. The Tigers. Wow. 6 career games versus Detroit. His ERA is 7.48. His worst ERA against any AL team. That's not good. This is the guy you put on the mound to start off against the Tigers? That's crazy. Here comes the pitch. Whoa, up and in. A little out of control on that one. 1 ball, no strikes to Dingler. One 0 pitch on the way. A little high, 2-0. How many people do we have joining right now? Got about 15. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you liking the live stream. Give you a little exercise for your mouse finger. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Whoa, another one way up and in. 97 miles per hour. 3-0. Eight likes. That's pretty decent considering I only got about 12. Now 15 people joining in. Here comes the 3-0 pitch to Dingler. Way up high. A 4-pitch walk by Kirby. The Tigers now have 2 runners on, first and second. Here in the top of the second, a single and a walk. Kirby having a little bit of problems here. AJ Hinch over there giving some signs and writing some crap down. He's over there scheming. What kind of clever nonsense does he have in his mind? First pitch coming up to Zach McKinstry. High and outside for ball 1. McKinstry, a lefty. A little bit of a danger versus George Kirby. Batting .259 for the season. .771 OPS. He's only got 12 homers, though. OPS is respectable. Raleigh jogs out to the mound to have a little chit-chat with George Kirby to make sure they are on the same page. Let me move my logo around. It's a little off. There we go. That's better. Take another look at the scoreboard right quick while they are talking on the mound. See if the Phillies have scored again. Come on, Phillies, score. Still 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th. That's a long 7th. Maybe they got some guys on base. 1-0 pitch to Zach McKinstry. On the way. 97 on the inside edge. Strike 1. Counts even. Got some little bugs flying around in here. Here's the toss. 96, top of the zone, fouled away. 1-2's the count. McKinstry gets behind. Kirby up to 25 pitches right now. Looking for his first out of the inning. There comes the toss. Right in there, fouled off. An inside fastball, but he fouls it off on the left side. Opposite field. One ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch from Kirby. A little too high. 97 mile per hour fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 runners on. No outs. It's interesting that the opponents that bat against Kirby, their batting average goes up whenever he has runners on. Swing and a miss. 88 mile per hour slider. Started off right in the middle, dropped just a little bit. McKinstry could not get his bat on it. Somebody's got the K's going for Kirby. 4 strikeouts. McKinstry goes to sit down. Makes way for Javier Baez. His first at bat of the game. 1 down, 2 on. Here's the toss. Kirby gets him swinging. 89 miles an hour on the outside edge. Strike 1. Oh, and 1 is the count. Here comes the pitch, the 30th pitch of the game for Kirby. It's chopped to third. They're going to go to first. Suarez doesn't have a play at second. He gets Baez at first for out number 2, but the runners advance to second and third. So Baez grounds out, but he does move the runners over. One hit, 1 walk, a strikeout, and a ground out now for the Tigers. Their next hope is Parker Meadows. Sounds like a nursing home name. Welcome to Parker Meadows. 98 just above the zone. Ball 1. Got almost 20 people watching right now. It sure would be nice to get way up today. I never got to the 50 mark today on the Yankees game, Blue Jays game. But it'd be nice to get at least to 50, 100 preferably. I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll see. Probably most people have the ability to watch the game. I know that some have told me that they can't watch it. It's either blacked out or they just don't have the connection for it or something. So I'm happy that I was able to do the game today, although the reason that I was able to do it is kind of sad. Low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Meadows. I had to quickly schedule this game and get it set up because originally I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was going to have a first date today, go to a nature park, but she decided that she didn't think we could work out. She was too nervous. 88 miles an hour, fouled back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 strike away from getting out of this little jam. Runners on third and second. Parker Meadows at the plate with a 2-2 count facing George Kirby, who is up to 35 pitches with this next delivery. Here comes the toss. 2-2. Strike 3 right in there. Got him looking. Should have swung the bat, mister. Should have swung the bat. Kirby gets out of a jam. That's called strike 3. Yeah, he knew it. That's all she wrote for the top of the second, guys and gals. We go to the bottom of the second. Troy Melton will be back up on the mound for the Tigers in just a moment, followed by Eugenio Suarez, Dominic Canzon, and Victor Robles. Yeah, but for me, there was actually the lady that I was going to go out on a date with. There's something different about her than the normal date that I have. Even though I am 50 years old, normally when I go out with somebody on a date, they're usually younger than me. I mean, it varies, but sometimes they're, like 8 years, 10 years younger than me, and sometimes more than that. Many Japanese women, of course, many Asian women, it's not just Japanese women, but many Asian women can look a lot younger sometimes than what they are. I did date a lady for a brief time in Tokyo many years ago, and she seemed really nice, and she was very beautiful, and she looked to be about 30 years old, maybe 32, but she was 41. And I'm not kidding. I wasn't just being nice. I mean, she really looked like she was about 30, 32 years old. And whenever we met, the first time we met was for Mexican food. We went to a Mexican restaurant. And I thought we had such a great time, you know, but she started to show some cracks later on and revealed that she had kind of a narcissistic attitude. She was a very selfish kind of attitude, you know. I'm not condemning her or anything, but that's just the kind of attitude that she was displaying. I'll tell you about that later, maybe. But basically, whenever she found out what my age was, because my age was a little younger than her, I think at the time, how old was I? I was in my late 30s, but she thought I was like 29. So I thought she was like 30, 32. She thought I was 29. And then whenever we found out what our ages were, we were having dinner and we both started laughing because she thought that I was like 10 years younger. And I thought that she was about 10 to 12 years younger. And that was pretty funny. We had a good chuckle about that. But she, at that time, she asked if I'd wanted to have more kids because I only had one daughter. And I said, well, it'd be kind of nice to have more kids, but, you know, I don't have to. And she didn't like the way that sounded. She wanted me to make a very declarative statement that I did not want children. She said, well, if we don't have any more children, she said, I'm a little old. If I can't have children, I don't want you to be unhappy. And I said, well, I didn't say I had to have children, but she made up her mind right then that if we didn't, I would always be unhappy with our marriage. So she stopped dating me. That's the short version of that experience. 1 ball, 1 strike to Suarez. Below the zone. 89 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Suarez. I can tell you many, many stories about all the dates I've been on in Japan and in Asia. This is a tapper back to Melton. He lobs it over to first. That is a big easy out against Suarez. Little tapper to the mound. 1 down. First pitch to Dominic Canzone on the way. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch. The splitter. 88 miles an hour in the top of the zone. Canzone batting 300 for the regular season. Here's the pitch from Melton. Half swing, fouls it off on the third base side. Next pitch is a swing and a miss. 97 at the top of the zone, and he strikes him out. 3 pitches. First strikeout, not only for Melton today, but in the postseason. 1K. Canzone goes down, and that's out number 2. Nobody on. Here comes the next toss. Woo, 97. A little more heat. Swing and a miss by Robles. Victor Robles at the plate. Here's the next pitch. Check swing, a little low, ball 1 on the 98 mile per hour pitch. J.P. Crawford is on deck. He would be up next if Robles were able to get on. Here's the pitch. 98 on the outside edge. Good pitch. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Nobody on. Bottom of the second. We are scoreless so far. Here's the toss in the dirt. 2-2. Here's the toss, the 2-2 pitch. Robles holds back. It looked like he was about to go for it. That was a low pitch. Breaking ball below the zone, and it's a full count. Here's a toss. Check swing, fouls it off. Or a half swing, rather. Count remains 3-2. There comes the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 up and in. Couldn't get the bat on it. Melton sits Robles down for out number 3. And that's his second strikeout of the postseason. We are done with 2 innings here in Seattle. George Kirby will be back up on the mound in just a moment. He has climbed up to 35 pitches in this game. He's going to be facing the top of the lineup again for the Tigers. Gleyber Torres, followed by Kerry Carpenter, and then Riley Green. Let's see what we got here. Got some notifications. Okay. I see somebody made a comment on my video. For those of you who haven't seen it, I made a video where I was discussing what the Astros management might do with Paredes and Walker coming up in the offseason, because since we got Carlos Correa back, he's been at third base. And of course, Correa can also play shortstop, but it's better for his condition to play third base, and he wanted to play third base. But the issue is that Paredes is also our third baseman, and as he comes back off the injury in the spring, where will he play? Because we have a little bit of a traffic jam on that side of the field, right? Because we still have Pena. Obviously, Pena will stay at shortstop. That's not open. There's no way they're going to move Pena. So it comes down to, where do you put Correa and Paredes? Paredes actually does have some experience at first base. Whether or not he really wants to play over there or not, I don't know. I think that he's open to doing it for the team. But I agree with the AI. In that video, the AI basically said that there is a very high chance, up to a 70% probability, that the Astros management will at least try to give him some reps over at first base, just to see how it works out. Maybe even during the Grapefruit League spring training, it's possible that he gets playing time over there. If he's looking really good and Walker isn't, then Walker might be losing his starting position at first base. It's as simple as that. Now, somebody else also mentioned, one of my subscribers mentioned, why not just put Correa at second? It's not a bad idea, but I don't know about Correa playing second. I don't know if he'd be able to do that or not. I mean, surely he'd be able to do it at least as good, if not better, than Altuve. I'm not saying Altuve's bad. Some people say he's bad at second. I wouldn't say that. I think that right now he's just average at second base. Not amazing, but he's not bad. That's a stretch to call him bad. Bad in left field? Maybe there's an argument there. He's definitely not an outfielder. But seeing Correa at second, Walker at first, if we're going to have to keep Walker. Swing and a miss. 97 miles an hour. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gleyber Torres. Kirby is ahead in the count. But I don't know. My video was just about exploring what were the possibilities. What are the different possibilities that the Astros management might take with Paredes and Walker? That's high. Ball 2. 2-2. It wasn't really meant to attack or defend Walker or Paredes. It was just exploring the possibilities of what might happen. Here's the pitch. That's ripped out into the right field side. That's going to be fair. Into the corner. Torres is going to be looking for extra bases. He's going to second with a double. So the Tigers have a leadoff man at second base with the rip opposite field to right field. by Gleyber Torres. That ball went a little bit from left to right, but it didn't drop at all. He was easily able to rip that out into right field. Put a little hook on it. Kerry Carpenter comes to the plate with Torres on second, no outs. Top of the third. First pitch from Kirby on the way. That's a little high, ball one. My personal preference would be for the Astros to find a way to get a really good hitter, a really good first baseman. Not having a great hitter at first really hurts the lineup. Swing and a miss, up and out. He went after it. 1-1 is the count with no outs, runner on second. 3.38 ERA at home and a 5.16 ERA on the road for George Kirby. So he should be pitching better here in Seattle. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the next toss to Carpenter. Fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's very interesting. There's some things that people don't think about. A lot of fans don't think about is that different positions are expected to have different batting averages, you know? Here comes the 1-2 pitch. He hits that one up the middle, and that's going to be right at Rodriguez. He grabs and he throws it in. Torres does not tag. He just bluffs. That's 1 down. Riley Green due up next. For example, a catcher with a good batting average, and when I say a good batting average, let's say you got a catcher batting 275. That's really, really, really good for a catcher. So what Cal Raleigh is doing with the Mariners is insane. Catchers just don't do that type of stuff. If you got a catcher who's great at throwing people out and great at catching, and he's got a 250 batting average, that's good. Here's the pitch. Too high, ball 1 to Riley Green. So I think Diaz gets a little bit too much grief for his batting, but I will say this. His catching is leaving a lot to be desired, but he's not throwing anybody out, you know? I don't think he's bad at catching the ball, but framing the ball and throwing runners out, he's terrible at those things. And if you can't do those things really, really well, and your batting is just so-so, then it's kind of like, what are you doing here, you know? 2 balls and no strikes to Green. Torres camped out on second base. Here's the toss. Fouls it off. 88 mile per hour slider. 2 balls and 1 strike. If you've got a player on your team that's basically playing to the league average, your goal is to upgrade that position. You know what I'm saying? You don't want your players playing to league average. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Green fouls that one off. The 97 mile per hour fastball above the zone, and the count is even 2-2. That's been my problem with Walker this year, is that his performance is slightly below his average. Not too much below, but a little below. His OPS is way down. Batting average is not that far down. But his average is really not that good either. It's very average for the average player. But for a first baseman, it's terrible. Fouled off. Count remains 2-2 to Riley Green. And that's what I was going to say is, how many of you have thought about that? The first baseman position is not so much about defense. When you get a first baseman, your goal is to get somebody who can hit the ball. Somebody who actually provides threat in the lineup for batting. The defense doesn't have to be good. Swing and a miss. Beautiful pitch there. Would look like a low inside curve. On the 2-2 pitch, Kirby gets another K. 50 pitches now for George Kirby. Yeah. Started off on the inside, went low and in. It started off right down the middle and went low and inside. Green couldn't take it. 2 outs. Next batter is Spencer Torkelson. Low for ball 1. So Torres, top of the lineup, starts the inning off with a double all the way out to the wall in right field. And he's been standing right there on second base since then. Here's the next pitch. Torkelson swings and misses. 88-mile-per-hour slider. That slider is pretty wicked right now. 1 ball, 1 strike. I wish we had a really nice right fielder so we could put Cam back in minors and give him some more practice. For the Astros, that is. Here's the pitch. 98 miles an hour, fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Is the crowd going to get up and cheer? Yes, they lethargically get up and start cheering. It took a little bit of music to get them going. They're like, oh yeah, it's 2 strikes and 2 outs. 1-2 pitch to Torkelson from Kirby. Coming up. 98 hit straight up in the air, all the way out to left center. Arozarena and Rodriguez. Arozarena backs off and lets A-Rod take it, or J-Rod rather. A-Rod. Oh, man. That's an acceptable mistake. Cal Raleigh is going to lead it off for the Mariners in the bottom of the 3rd. 3 hits for the Tigers, but nothing comes of it. They had a leadoff double by Torres, and they stranded him. 3 straight batters couldn't do anything. The Tigers have picked right up where they left off in the last series against the Guardians, putting a lot of runners on base and not moving them around. They have 10 lobsters, 10 guys left on base that they did not move around. The Mariners only have 3. So, whereas the Tigers are putting guys on and not moving them around, the Mariners just aren't putting guys on base. It's kind of like the Guardians-Tigers series. Guardians were having trouble for a while just putting guys on base. Whew. Let's see here. That's funny. That's funny. I want to show this picture to all of you. I made this picture with the AI. Stupid Windows. It's going to be posted for my upcoming game, game, the Texans versus the Ravens. Let me show it to you. This is going to be my thumbnail for my live stream later on tomorrow for the Texans game. That's funny. I like it. I like it. Melton back on the mound, J.P. Crawford leading it off, 96 miles an hour. Starts him off with a strike, swing and a miss for strike 2. I don't know why, but right before the break, they said that Cal Raleigh was due up next. But I guess what they meant was he was going to be in the top 3 batters. He's not the leadoff batter, so they fooled me on that one. I guess they don't care about J.P. Crawford and Randy Arozarena, just care about Cal Raleigh. The count is 1-2 to Crawford. Here's the toss. Opposite field. McKinstry grabs it, fires it over to first. Easy ground out, 1 away. Hey, Daryl, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome in. Got about 15 people watching at the moment. Randy Arozarena, top of the batting order. Here's the pitch. 96 at the bottom of the zone, just barely clips it for strike 1. Here's the second pitch. 96 on the outside edge. He swings and fouls it off. Strike 2. Are the Phillies getting back into the game yet? I sure hope so. Here's a pitch, the 0-2. That's high. Ball 1, 1-2. Top of the 9th, man. The Phillies are getting down to the wire. They only have 1 batted left to come back. Here's the pitch, the 1-2. Half swing, but that's going to be a strike in the bottom of the zone. Arozarena goes down. That's 2 away. Nobody on. The big little dumper. Here's the pitch. This is hit high into center field, but it's going to be in the park. The crowd went a little crazy when it went up. But it was nowhere near the fence. Out number 3. Mariners are 3 up and 3 down. No problem for Melton this inning. We go to the 4th. That's the end of 3, guys and gals. We're tied at goose eggs right now. Detroit is winning by sheer hitting numbers and base runner numbers. They've got 1 walk, 3 hits. Mariners have 1 walk, 1 hit. George Kirby up to 54 pitches in 3 innings, and 35 of those in the zone. Daryl says, I feel a Tigers win coming. Well, you never know. If the Mariners batters are not hot, then they will definitely lose. I think that the Mariners can easily win if they just have half their lineup hitting the ball, but they're not doing it right now. Right now, the Mariners are getting a lot of guys on base. They're just not driving them in. But you know what? They did the same thing with the Guardians, and they won that series. So, just saying. Leaving a lot of guys on base is no good, but at the same time, getting a lot of guys on base creates a lot more opportunities. And the Mariners have not been creating the opportunities right now. All right. George Kirby. I see Orioles Birdwatcher is also doing the Tigers-Mariners game. He's got about 35 people watching. A little bit more than me, but then again, his channel size is much bigger. He's got over 3K subscribers, I think. How many does he have right now? Yeah, almost 3.6 subscribers, 3.6K. Yeah, he's more than twice as big as my channel, but he's been around a lot longer. So it makes sense why he would have more people following the game right now. Here's the first pitch from Kirby to Colt Keith. Colt Keith is 1 for 1 today with a single. Dylan Dingler on deck and Zach McKinstry in the hole. Here comes the next pitch from Kirby. Little too far inside on the fastball. 1-1 is the count. Here's a pitch. Low and inside. He swings at it, fouls it off at the plate. 1-2 is the count against Colt Keith. Daryl says it looks like Lamar Jackson is out tomorrow versus the Texans due to hamstring. Texans need to take advantage. Yep. That's right. There's been talk about that all week. I know that they were talking about whether or not he would be out, but I think that if they had put him in, that would be stupid. Can't risk injuring him. 97, way above the zone. The count is even 2-2 to Colt Keith. You just can't risk a position like that. I mean, a quarterback with a hamstring, possible hamstring injury? No. He didn't even practice this week. Swing and a miss, 88 miles an hour on the outside. That looked like a slider. Good pitch by Kirby, 1 down. Colt Keith goes back to the dugout. Might have been a changeup. Yeah, it was a changeup. Dylan Dingler comes to the plate. Here's the toss. 88 on the slider, outside, fouled away. Strike 1. My prediction for the Texans tomorrow is a little bit more generous. I'm going to say that they clear 30 points because I feel confident they're going to have a really good offensive game tomorrow. I think that their defense is going to play well, and it's going to give them more chances to score. And actually, it's funny because the AI that I talked to earlier, it said that it thinks that the Texans will win 26-13. But I thought, you know what? With a solid defensive performance, they'll have more opportunities on offense, so I think they'll clear 30 points. 88 miles an hour in the center field. Rodriguez grabs it. Out number 2. But the Texans putting up at least 30 tomorrow against this team would be a big boost to the team's morale, to the way they're viewed by other teams, and for the fans, to be honest. So that's my guess. Here's the toss. 86, right on that outside edge. Zach McKinstry at the plate, 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. 0 for 1. And 0-1 is the count. Now it's 1-1 with that high fastball out of the zone. I'm going to say 31-10. That's going to be the final score tomorrow, or 31-13. Here's the toss. 96. Fouled away above the zone, but he took a swipe at it. 1 ball, 2 strikes to McKinstry. 2 outs. Yeah, Daryl, you're right. As long as they don't beat themselves. I think if Stroud makes wise decisions, he stays calm, makes good throws, makes those easy throws. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Kirby. What is that, like 6? 6 Ks? 9 of the last 10 have been retired by Kirby. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. The Mariners will be right back up. Melton didn't get much of a break. He's up to 38 pitches, 25 in the zone. He'll be facing Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, and Jorge Polanco. Let's see what we got here. Kirby. Whoa, no, he has 8 strikeouts. Holy cow, he has 2 more than I thought. That's crazy. He's averaging 2 strikeouts per inning. 4 innings pitched. 3 hits, no runs. 1 walk. 8 Ks. Darn good. Let's compare that to Melton. Melton, so far just 3 innings pitched. 1 hit. No runs, 1 walk. 3 strikeouts. Now his results are just as good through 3 innings. It's just that his outs have come more from grounders and fly outs than strikeouts. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I mean, look at the amount of pitches. 38 pitches for Melton and 38 pitches. I'm sorry, 66 pitches. That's the difference. That's the thing about strikeout. A lot of these strikeout pitchers, they throw so many more pitches than the ground ball, fly ball pitchers. And pitchers like Fromber has the ability to get a lot of ground balls and strikeouts because when he's on, he's on. I mean, he has a wicked curveball, but he also has the ability to throw a fastball. He's got a nice arsenal. When Fromber's on, he's one of the best in the MLB. That's just the truth. If Fromber is throwing as good as Fromber can throw, he's easily the top 5 in the top 5 pitchers in all of MLB. That's just the fact. But if you compare him to Hunter Brown is a completely different style of pitcher. He throws for a lot of strikeouts. He throws the ball hard. He's not what you would call a ground ball pitcher like Fromber is. Fromber is like a double play specialist, typically. Historically, that's what he's been, right? But Hunter Brown, sometimes he will throw a ton of pitches. I mean, he'll struggle to get through 5 innings because he has to throw so many pitches. He might have 12 strikeouts, 10 or 12 strikeouts, but he'll have a ton of pitches, just like what you're seeing right here with this game, Melton versus Kirby. Kirby is looking good, but look how many more pitches he has. It's ridiculous, the amount of pitches he has compared to Melton. Speaking of Melton's pitches, first 2 pitches, a strike followed by a ball. Julio Rodriguez, J-Rod at the plate. This is not A-Rod, this is J-Rod. Here comes the next toss. Change up, low and inside. 2-1. I hope you fellers and you gals don't mind my commentary. Here's the next pitch. On that lower outside edge, strike 2. 2-2 is the count. Julio Rodriguez at the plate. Here comes the pitch. Hit high in the air. It's pretty deep to center field. It might be dangerous. It is. It's gone. That's the first run of the game, and it comes on the back of a home run to center field by Julio Rodriguez. A J-Rod homer. The Mariners are up 1-0. How about that? 413 feet, 109 miles per hour. He jacked it. A no-doubter to center field off of Troy Melton. Hit number 2, and he holds the trident up for the crowd, and they freak out. Next batter is Josh Naylor. Check swing on that first pitch. First postseason home run for the Mariners since 2001. Can you believe that? Whoa, that might be another homer. Josh Naylor crushes it all the way out to right field. Is it going to be? Oh, it stays in the park. Just too much underneath it. Man, Melton is laughing. He thought that was gone. Woo, I think he crapped his pants on that pitch. When he saw that go up, you should have seen his reaction. He thought it was gone. Naylor launched it, but he just got too far underneath it. Out number 1. Melton, you need to calm yourself down, boy. Jorge Polanco at the plate. That ball is low for ball 1. I wish they'd show a replay on that hit by Josh Naylor so you could see the reaction of Troy Melton, because he thought that was gone too. Here's a pitch. High and outside, ball 2. Wow, indeed. One out, 2-0, nobody on. Here's the toss. A little high and outside, just barely misses that upper outer corner. There's that homer by J-Rod. High fastball. Here's the pitch. A little low. Calls it a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. The crowd is booing now. They wanted the ball 4. Polanco at the plate with the 3-1 count. Tigers have Herder warming up in the bullpen now. The lefty. Here's the toss. In the bottom of the zone on the check swing. Strike 2. Full count. Here comes the 3-2. That's a grounder up the middle to the shortstop. Javier Baez grabs it up on the hop. Fires it to first for out number 2. There's that homer. Dead center. No chance. Second or third row. Here's the toss. Low and outside in the dirt. Ball 1 to Suarez. Can you believe that? It's the first postseason run. Not just home run, but run. The first postseason run at home in 24 years for the Mariners. Talk about a drought. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the toss. Two balls and 1 strike in the dirt. Here's the next pitch to Suarez. Low and outside. 3-1. Melton might be trying to stay away from Suarez's bat. Here's the toss. Hit high in the air. It's going to float into the crowd. Count remains... Well, actually, it's now 3-2. I thought he already had 2 strikes. My bad. Full count to Suarez. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0 Mariners after that home run by Rodriguez. Here comes the pitch, the full count. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Suarez goes down. You know, Melton kept his cool after giving up that home run. Melton actually kept his cool and was laughing off that second hit by Naylor that went all the way out to the warning track. He was kind of smiling and laughing about it. And he actually remained pretty cool, held himself together, and got the next few outs. So, good job to him. He only gave up the 1 hit, the 1 run. We are done with 4 innings of baseball. It's 1-0 Seattle Mariners at home in Game 1 of this ALDS playoff game. Top of the 5th coming up. George Kirby up to 66 pitches. Now that that inning is over, let's compare the pitchers because each pitcher has had a chance to pitch 4 innings. Kirby has thrown 66 pitches, 43 in the zone, okay? Melton has thrown 57 pitches, 35 in the zone. So he has thrown 9 fewer pitches than Kirby, which makes sense because he only walked one guy, and he hasn't been throwing a lot of strikeouts. Got about 20 people watching right now. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in. We're on commercial break at the moment. The top of the 5th coming up momentarily. Javier Baez is due up to bat. He's 0 for 1 today, followed by Parker Meadows and then Gleyber Torres. My guess is that the Phillies did not pull out the game in the 9th. I really wish they had, but I'm going to guess that they didn't because I haven't looked at the score. Yeah, they didn't. They let the Dodgers come back and win. They scored 3 runs on Ohtani early, and then after that, they just got shut down. The Phillies are letting me down. The Philadelphia Fakies, more like. You know, a Philly is a sandwich, and they're playing like sandwiches. Oh, hey, Michael, I just saw your message there. Go Tigers. Good to have you in the chat. Thanks for stopping in. Got a few of my regulars stopping in to check. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. The Dodgers got lucky, came back and got 5 runs, but the Phillies could not build on their lead. They should have won that game, but they got shut down. They hit Ohtani, but they couldn't hit anything after that. Baez hits one out into right field, and that's going to be caught. Riley makes the play. Parker Meadows comes to the plate. Oh, that's Robles. I'm sorry. I said Riley. Why did I say Riley? Out in right field, that's Robles. One down. Here's the pitch to Meadows. Almost clipped him on the inside. Ball 1. Past their expiration. Past their expiration date. They are past their use by date or sell by date. Best by this date. Here's the pitch. High. Ball 2. Kirby up to 69 pitches. No, 70. One down, nobody on here in the top of the 5th. Here's the toss. Just a little inside, but the umpire liked it. Strike 1. 2-1 is the count. Pretty sunny out there today. I guess the rain has finally gone away. 87 miles an hour on the slider, fouled off at the plate. 2-2 is the count. Parker Meadows facing George Kirby for the 2nd time this game. He's 0 for 1. Tomorrow's game is at a pretty good time for me. But I will say that the first game of the day that I'm going to do is way too freaking early. Here's the pitch. High and outside. Ball 3. The count is full to Meadows. Yeah, the game tomorrow between the Yankees and the Blue Jays is way too early. 5 a.m. But whatever. I'm going to be here. Fouled off. I hope you guys and gals can be here. I'll be able to sleep until about 4:30. Low 90s. Wow, low 90s. That's too hot. I'm kind of spoiled right now with the temperature outside. It's nice. Another foul ball. Meadows fouls it off. Count remains full, 3-2 with 1 out. Kirby gets a new ball, gives it some loving. Let's see if he rubs it the wrong way. Here's the toss. That's hit hard to right field. It's going to be down for a single, line drive single. So Meadows, batting 9th, gets on board for Torres. Gleyber Torres comes up with an opportunity to do something for the Tigers. One to nothing Seattle right now in the top of the 5th. Off the back of that J-Rod homer. 1 out. Runner on first. And here's the first pitch to Torres. 87 up and in. Could have been called a ball, but the umpire said, me likey. Strike 1. Yeah, the Brewers destroyed the Cubs. 9 runs in the first 2 innings. But it bothers me that they didn't score any other runs after that, you know? Kind of like the Phillies scoring the 3 runs early off Ohtani and then nothing for the rest of the game. That's terrible. But of course, it would have been nice if the Phillies had scored 9 runs. That would have been awesome. You can't have your cake and eat it too. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the toss to Torres. A little high. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. The 1-2 to Torres. Runner on first. 1 out. He hits that high in the air. Is it going to be playable? No. It flies right over the dugout, and he'll have another 1-2 pitch. JD says that Yankees series might be over quick, Go. Yeah, you're right. Wow, the Mariners have a couple of guys warming up in the bullpen right now. A lefty and a big guy. I don't think that big guy was a pitcher. Surely not. He didn't have a glove on. He was just walking around with a ball. I agree with you, JD. I think that the Yankees can't deal with the Jays. And at home, I don't think they have a chance. The Yankees might win 1 game, but I think no more than that. It's just my opinion. 87 mile per hour, fouled off on the right side into the crowd. The count remains full. But I agree with you, JD. I have the same feeling. 3-1 is what I'm guessing. 3 games to the Blue Jays, 1 game to the Yankees. Daryl says I'm ready for fall, but don't look like it till November. Yeah. Sometimes not even in November does it look like fall, right? Still muggy and just not nice. But here in this area, normally it gets pretty cool pretty quick. It got pretty chilly last night, but right now it's kind of warm. Full count remains to Gleyber Torres. Here's the toss. That's hit off his fists. Naylor grabs it and walks over the bag for out number 2. But Parker Meadows dances over to second base. And Kerry Carpenter comes to the plate. Glenn says, first off, hello. Hello to you. Question, is MLB going to do the AI plate strike zone? I think they plan to implement it. So tentatively, I would say yes. I believe they are going to do it next year. And Glenn says, thanks for doing these games. I'm at work and I appreciate you. Well, you're welcome very much, Glenn. I appreciate you for being here. I hope you enjoy the live stream. A little bit of a break on the mound right now as Raleigh has a meeting with George Kirby. I guess they want to get on the same page with their plan to handle Kerry Carpenter. Even though they have 2 outs, there is a runner in scoring position on second base. Carpenter is definitely not one of those batters you want to play around with. Kirby is set. Comes the pitch. That's hit hard to right field. Is that going to be fair? Woo! Just barely foul, and it bounces over the wall. That looked to be about a foot or so Foul. Right into the corner. The count is 0-1 to Carpenter. He's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a line out. Daryl says, I went to mow the lawn today and I thought I was in a sauna. That's one thing I've been putting off and putting off and putting off is mowing the lawn one more time. I just keep thinking, is the grass going to stop growing? Because if it'll stop growing, I can cut it one more time and then I can stop worrying about it. You know what I'm saying? Here's the pitch, the 0-1. 97 up and in. Woo, that was close. Yeah, Carpenter didn't like that. He gave a little face. It was close. Yeah, he was like, I'm not so sure about that. I wouldn't have been swinging my bat at that pitch either. But the count's now 0-2. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second. Lots of twos. Here's the toss. The 2-toss. 2-strike toss. Right in there, strike 3, surely. Whoa, I thought for sure that was a strike 3. 97-mile-per-hour fastball right on the edge of the zone on the inside. That was a better pitch than the last one. I kid you not. Look at that. How can you not call that a strike? And they're like, what are you doing? You need glasses? 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That's hit hard. It might be gone. It's out. Holy cow. Carpenter hits a 2-run homer in the top of the 5th off of Kirby to give the Tigers a 2-1 lead. But what's crazy about this is that the umpire called a ball on one that was clearly on the inside edge. Could have been a strike 3 and out 3, but turns into a home run, a 2-1 lead. Wow. But you know what? You got to say, though, that the pitch before that was up and in. It was clearly a ball. He called it a strike. And then the next pitch was clearly a strike, and he called it a ball. So you take one away and you give one back. Can't complain about it too much. Look at that. He knew it immediately. Yep. Next batter is Riley Green. He hits that one into center field. It's going to drop. J-Rod can't get to it. And that's a single. 2-out base runner. Nobody was able to get to it, and that's going to be a very light single to center field for Riley Green. Spencer Torkelson is due up next to face Kirby. Kirby's up to 89 pitches. I wonder if they're going to keep him in or if they're going to go ahead and pull him out. Yeah, Kirby bit his glove whenever that ball was hit. 96 miles an hour on that outside edge. Strike 1 to Torkelson. Daryl says, pray for a hard freeze. Well, around here, I get heavy snow around here, so there's definitely going to be some really cold weather. Check swing, they say he didn't go. Ball 1, the count's even. Daryl, that's a good question. What's I'm looking at? Maybe his watch. What time is it? This game is dragging on. I won't be able to watch my shows. Here's the pitch. Check swing on the lower outside. He went around this time, says the ump. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Torkelson. Do you guys and gals think they'll ever start using video cameras and replay technology or AI to challenge the check swing? I see it coming. I see it coming eventually. They're going to take it away from the first and third base umpires, and they're going to give it to the computers and the AI again. Maybe give them 1 challenge per game or 2 per game, kind of like they're going to do with the ball strike calls. That's a ground out to the shortstop. He flips it to second, and that'll end the inning, but not before Carpenter blasts a 2-run homer to right field. It's 2-0. The Tigers continue to cause damage to George Kirby. They take the lead in the 5th. 6 hits for the Tigers, 2 for the Mariners. It's 2-1. What a game. Not a high-scoring game so far, but pretty interesting, pretty tense. This is like a playoff game. That's right, Daryl. He doesn't want to miss the Love Boat. This game is wearing on too long. I'm going to miss my shows. Mama's going to yell at me if I'm late again. She told me I should have gave up this stuff a long time ago. Glenn says, yep, instant replay for check swings. I think the technology stuff and the AI stuff and all of that, it's just getting out of hand. In certain instances, I'm okay with it. You know, if but there are some things I think are stupid. Okay, so for example, let's say a runner steals second base and they throw him out. The umpire calls him out, but they challenge the play because they think he was clearly safe, and then the play is overturned because he is safe. They check it and they say, yeah, he's safe, so the call is overturned. I think that's fine. But what I don't understand is that there are some calls that the umpires make on the field that are not reviewable plays. And I don't understand why that is. Like, if I'm not mistaken, now I might be wrong, but like if a ball is hit down the line and it's called fair or foul, I think that maybe that's not a reviewable play. It might be, but I'm just giving it as an example of there are some plays in the game that are not reviewable plays. And so, what the umpires... Oh, okay, here's a good example. You might remember the game where Altuve, I think this was last year, Altuve fouled a ball off of his foot, and it went into the field. The other team picked it up and threw it to first base, and the umpires called him out. But Altuve never ran out of the box because it hit him on the foot. So why would he run? And he told the umpire, that hit me on the foot. And they said, no, that's a grounder. You're out. And Altuve, of course, being Altuve, he took his shoe off. He took his shoe off and pointed at his foot, his sock, to show it to him. And the umpire said, screw this crap. And he threw him out of the game. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. You can look it up on YouTube. It's pretty funny. It's so ridiculous, so it's just stupid because they wouldn't review the play. It's a non-reviewable play. So stupid. Dominic Canzone at the plate. First pitch is in there for a strike. Second pitch is fouled off. 0-2. Brant Herder is in the game for the Tigers, a lefty, facing Canzone. Here's the 0-2 pitch. He hits that one high in the air to left field. Left center. Center fielder comes over, Meadows, and grabs it for out number 1. Victor Robles comes to the plate. But anyway, what I was saying is, if you're going to have instant replay to challenge calls on the field, then you should just be able to challenge every call on the field. Why are they allowing some but not others, you know? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid. It's retarded. It's literally retarded. Whoever came up with this idea, well, we're going to allow challenges for these things but not for those things, that's just stupid. Because they have a limited number of challenges, right? So they don't want to use those challenges willy-nilly. They want to use them when they're pretty sure that they're going to get it. This is a foul ball. The catcher is able to get back there and get it. Dingler puts it away, no problem. Victor Robles fouls out. 2 up and 2 down for the Mariners in the bottom of the 5th. No answers so far. They lost their lead, and their response has been weak so far this inning. Yeah, that's right. Also balks. Yeah, there are a variety of things that cannot be challenged. strike one to J.P. Crawford. He grounded out his last at bat. Here comes the next pitch. The 0-1. Ground ball to the first base side. That's an easy play for the Tigers. They just grab it. He steps on the base, no problem. 1-2-3, fifth inning for Herder. Brent Herder. We're done with 5 innings of ball. 6 hits for the Tigers, 2 for the Mariners. 2-1 is the score. The Tigers have this game right now. Runners left on base that have not been moved around. The Mariners only have 3 of those lobsters. The Tigers have 12. Both teams are doing pretty poorly. Well, the Tigers are doing really poorly with bringing runners around. The Mariners have only put 3 runners on, so the Mariners are still struggling just to get guys on base. The Mariners have gotten a lot of guys on base. They just struggle to bring them in. But if it continues like this, the Mariners are going to have to rely on big hits. They're going to have to rely on homers to win this game if they're not going to put people on base. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Daryl says, oh, yeah, that was messed up. I saw one game and an umpire got tossed. That was funny. Oh, I heard about that. Wasn't that a recent thing? I saw a video pop up on YouTube one day. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Or the umpire gets tossed. How does an umpire get tossed? That's pretty crazy. How does an umpire get tossed from a game? That's nonsense. Got about 30 people listening in right now. Thanks for being here. There's a little bit of a commercial break at the moment before the top of the 6th inning. The score is 2-1, as you see on the screen. The Tigers came back with a 2-run blast. From Mr. Carpenter. Gave the Tigers the lead and put them on the board at the same time. The crowd was cheering. Oh, man. I think I would too, just because it's so strange and so funny. It sounds crazy, right? Have you ever seen the ball boy get thrown out? That would be funny. I wonder if the ball boy has ever been thrown out of an MLB game. That might have happened before. But, you know, the umpire getting thrown out, that's crazy enough. But I do think it'd be funny if the ball boy got thrown out. I wonder if it'd really hurt them traumatically, if it would cause them a lot of emotional trauma. Because usually the ball boys are young boys or young girls. If they got tossed, it would probably really hurt their feelings. You're out of here. What? What did I do? Colt Keith is at the plate facing Caleb Ferguson. Ferguson, the new pitcher for the Mariners. 5-4 record with a 3.58 ERA through 70 games. Here's the 1-0 pitch. A little far inside, ball 2. Crowd starting to boo. That ball was clearly not in the zone. They're grasping at straws now. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That's in there for strike 1. Well, yeah, Daryl. Either that, or I'm sure they would have a backup. I'm pretty sure that they have backup ball boys and ball girls. 94 at the top of the zone, swing and a miss, 2-2. Pretty sure they got the backup. Friend of mine came to visit from Australia. I met him through my other YouTube channel. I don't know if he's listening right now. Sometimes he comes in and creeps on the channel. If you're listening, Glenn, then hello. But I know that you are busy in Osaka with friends over there. But welcome back to Japan. He's from Australia, and he came back to visit again. Right now he's in Osaka, visiting a friend there. And after a few days, he's going to come over here to Hiroshima. So I think I'm going to have him on the broadcast a couple of times. So I hope you guys will look forward to that. It'll be my first time to have somebody on the air with me. Here's the 2-2 in the dirt. Full count to Jahmai Jones. Jones is batting for Keith, by the way. The PHN for the DH. That's interesting. They pull out the DH for a PH. Full count, no outs. Top of the 6th. Here's the toss from Ferguson. Low and inside. That bounces off the glove of Raleigh. He has to go back to the back screen to get it. So the Tigers have a leadoff runner on first. Daryl says they could use the hot dog man. Maybe they could throw the hot dog man out. Wouldn't that be funny? They throw out the beer guy. Throw out, hot dogs, get your hot dogs here. Don't be a loser like the ump. And the ump turns around, takes off his face mask. That's enough. You're out of here. Throw out the hot dog man. Does the umpire have that power, though? Can the umpire throw out employees in the stands like that? I know that they can throw fans out. But can the umpire literally say, that hot dog guy, he's too obnoxious, you're out of here? 2 straight pitches, 2 straight balls to Dingler. Dylan Dingler at the plate 0 for 1 today. Runner on first base, no outs. Banana ball in Houston was a blast, says Glenn. Very entertaining. Here's a tapper foul, just dribbled down the third base side. That'll be strike 1. That was barely a dingler. Now, if he hits it hard, it's a dinger. But if he doesn't hit it so hard, it's a dingler. So it's a dingler down the third base side. I appreciate you guys and gals listening in. How many do we have right now? 38. Hey, that's not bad. Let's get over 50. Share it with your cousins. Share it with your wife and your girlfriend. Your second girlfriend. Share it with all of those you love and those that are you openly love and those that you secretly love. Here's the 2-1 pitch. A little high, taken for ball 3. The count is 3-1 to Mr. Dingler. Caleb Ferguson now up to a dozen pitches with this next toss. And here it comes. 93 miles an hour, hit over on the right side. Whoa, he overran it. They have a force at second, though. Robles went running out. No, Robles came in. I'm sorry. Robles came in and was able to get the ball. Second baseman missed it. You can see right here on the replay, he went running out and overplayed it. But it was picked up by Robles, who quickly threw it to second base and got the force out. Look at this. Whoops. Should have caught it, but they still get the out at second base, so no harm, no foul. Strike 1 to Zach McKinstry. No, he didn't even catch it. Daryl, he didn't even catch it. He overran it. He completely overran it. 94 miles an hour, fell down the first baseline. Counts 0-2 to McKinstry. 1 out, 1 on. Two strikes. 2 strikes to Zach McKinstry. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Ferguson. Bouncer down the first base side. Foul. Count remains 0-2. Or your live-in girlfriend. That's right. Share it with your wife and your live-in girlfriend. Here comes the 0-2. In the dirt, 1-2. Right below the video, there's a share button. You click on that share, you copy it. You send it to your loved ones. Send it to your enemies. Send it to your senator. Complain and tell them that this channel doesn't have enough subscribers. Do something about it. Do what I paid you to do as my representative in the government. That's a fly ball to center field, out number 2. Rodriguez puts it away. Javier Baez to come to the plate. Ferguson's going to be done for the day. The Mariners are going to go ahead and pull him out. They're not going to let him face Baez. Two outs with a runner on in the top of the 6th. The Mariners will have a new pitcher up in just a moment to try to shut this inning down. Caleb Ferguson has done his duty. 17 pitches, 9 strikes, 0.2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks. Javier Baez is 0 for 2 today. He'll be facing the new pitcher, whoever that is. Yeah, Daryl, he was more like the Flash. The Flash, after he just got his powers, he wasn't used to it, right? He was out of control. So he took off running really fast, and then by the time he looked up, he realized it was too late. He overran the ball. But luckily, he had Robles out in right field, who got it on the one hop and threw it to second base to get the out, to get the force. So you could say Batman was out in right field, the experienced guy with the actual skill. But the guy with the speed at second base, he was a young guy, a little out of control. If you want to look at it from a DC Comics point of view, right? Let's see. Tomorrow's games. Man, that 5 o'clock game, tomorrow's going to be a really long day for me. I'm pretty sure that the Texans game starts at 2 a.m. for me. And if that game starts at 2 a.m., and then the next game that I have to do starts at 5 a.m., that means I'll have to go from the Texans game to one of these baseball games back to back. And then when that game is done, it'll be about 8 a.m. And then the next game after that, I think, starts at 9. And now I might be mistaken, but I think that's the way it works out. Yeah, the Yankees Blue Jays game starts at 5:08 a.m. for me. Swinging a foul ball on that first pitch. Javier Baez at the plate. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Bazardo. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Edward Bazardo is the man that the Mariners called on to come in and try to shut things down. Baez is 0 for 2 today, and the count is 1-1 with 2 outs. This is hit way up in the air. Second baseman's going to take it. Polanco puts it away. Rosarina due up next. Top of the batting order for the Mariners, followed by Raleigh and Rodriguez. Let's see if the Mariners can finally start to answer here in the bottom of the 6th. They're starting to run out of innings. Yeah, it is a long day. Let me open this up. I'll show it to you on the screen here. Let's actually pull up the MLB schedule, and I'll show you what's going on here. Oh, schedule. That's what I'm looking for. Right there. Okay. click on now. These are a little different for me and you. Okay, but let's take a look. We go to the 6th. Okay, notice it says Monday the 6th because the games in the U.S. on Sunday are actually Monday for me. So if you notice this, these games here, 5:08 is the New York Blue Jays game, and of course that'll last anywhere from 2 hours and 15 minutes up to 3 hours generally, right? 2.5 maybe to 3 hours most. It'll end around 8 o'clock typically, and then this game is at 9:03, right? So remember, this game starts at 5. But if we go up here and if we choose the NFL and we look at there we go. This is the Texans-Ravens game. This starts at 2 o'clock. So from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I'll have the Texans game. And then from basically 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I have the Yankees-Blue Jays game. And then I have maybe a 1 hour break. And then 3 more hours, 2.5 to 3 more hours. Woo! I've got approximately 9 hours of live streaming to do tomorrow with a 1 hour break. That's 10 hours straight with a 1 hour break mixed in. So I have 9 hours of live streaming and 1 hour of break. Yeah, I need to make sure that I get to bed early tonight. I say tonight, maybe this afternoon. Go to bed this afternoon. As soon as I start to feel a little worn out, I definitely need to lie down and go to sleep. I need to do some cleaning today. Yeah, no overtime, no extra innings. I'm hoping so. Maybe low-scoring games. Randy Arozarena swings at that first pitch. Swing and a miss. Look at this, guys. We got an Astro on the mound. Former Astro, Rafael Montero. Kind of a dangerous guy to have in there right now. This is a leverage situation. This would make me so nervous. As an Astros fan, I have to say this would make me so nervous. Montero on the mound with a 1-run lead in the playoffs. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. A little outside, ball 1. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Yeah, I'm going to be working my butt off tomorrow. I hope I can get some donations. It's going to be difficult. Here's the toss. 96 up and out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Holton is out in the bullpen, the lefty going, so Montero likely won't be in the game for very long. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Way outside, full count. Arozarena works the count from 0-2 to 3-2. Cal Raleigh on deck. You know that they're probably going to pull Montero after this first batter. Low and outside, ball 4. That might be it. Are they going to pull him out? Or are they going to let him pitch to the big dumper? They're going to let him pitch. Unbelievable. Runner on first with no outs. Cal Raleigh at the plate. Facing Rafael Montero. Here's the toss. The crowd is chanting right now. 88, just a little outside on the splitter. Ball 1. Darryl says he's pitching around him. He wasn't at first. He was trying to get cheeky to get that third strike, and he messed up and walked him. Whoa! I thought that was in there, but it just barely missed outside. 2 balls and no strikes. You know what? It's difficult because you don't want to just walk him. You got Rodriguez up next. That's like out of the fire and into the fire. That's hit hard into center field. It's going to be down. No! Arozarena books it to third. Here's the throw. He's late. The throw's late. He's in there. Runners on first and third. I can't say that I didn't see this coming. I really question AJ Hinch right now. Why in the world would you bring in Montero in a playoff game when you're down by 1? I mean, you're up by 1 in the 6th inning. Why would you do that? And the top of the lineup? Does anybody make any sense out of that? There's a reason why we let Montero go. And he's showing it right now. And it hasn't ended yet. He's still on the mound, and Rodriguez is up. That's another hit. That's going to score a run. The game is tied. Very first pitch. Single to right field. Raleigh goes to second base. J-Rod on first. That's a walk and 2 hits by Montero. I told you. I told you. I told you. What in the world is Hinch thinking over there? Astros fans right now everywhere are just shaking their heads and laughing at AJ Hinch. So AJ Hinch, it's in the 6th inning, and you've got a 1-run lead in the first game of the playoffs against the Mariners, and it's the top of the lineup. So what pitcher do you think you're going to bring in to keep this Mariners team shut down? What do you think? Well, I feel confident in bringing in Rafael Montero. Montero has an absolutely hideous track record with leverage situations, but I have a feeling in my gambling gut that he's going to get it done for us today, even though historically speaking he never does. I have a feeling that he will be opposite world today, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's the interview that happened moments ago that we didn't get to hear or see. I'm just letting you know. The game is tied 2-2, and we're on break, by the way. If you're wondering, how do you have so much time to do that? It's because they finally took Montero out, believe it or not. Tyler Holton will be the new pitcher for the Tigers. 6 hits for the Tigers, 4 for the Mariners. Jorge Polanco is on deck. Eugenio Suarez in the hole. And Josh Naylor is at the plate. I just don't see this inning getting better for the Tigers right now. Very, very dangerous lineup coming up. And they already have 2 runners on. Got runners on first and second with no outs. Holton has quite the order to fulfill here to try to get these guys out without losing the lead. I mean, they're tied up right now. That's right, not a single out. Rodriguez didn't go to the All-Star game, but since then he has been lights out, man. Here comes the pitch. Low and outside. Holton's first pitch is the ball. Josh Naylor at the plate. Rodriguez 2 for 3 today with a homer and 2 RBIs. He has driven in both runs for the Mariners. He's the man. Here's the toss. Right in there, 92 miles an hour. Strike 1, the count's even. Got about 60 people following along right now. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining. There's Montero. Doshite. That's what I say in Japanese. It means why. Why? Naylor chops it up the middle. He tags the runner and throws it to first. He gets him. Is that a double play? Yeah, he got him. Torkelson grabbed that bouncer by Naylor. He tried to get out of that tag, but he got him. Julio tried to go around him. He was like, But he was able to get it, get the tag, throw it to first, get the double play. But Raleigh goes to third. Lucky play there. There's a challenge, it looks like. Okay, that's interesting. The Mariners are challenging both of those calls. First of all, they're saying that the ball was not in his glove when he made the tag. They think that the ball wasn't in his glove. And they think that the call at first, he was safe. Difficult. Difficult to say. The Mariners are saying the ball wasn't in his glove when he tagged him. He definitely had his hand on the glove. I mean, a hand on the ball. But I don't see any real separation, so I think he was out. I think they're going to lose both of these challenges. Yeah, he clearly got his glove on him. But from that angle, we can't see if his hand comes out. Whoa, right there. Yeah. That's difficult. That's difficult. I've never seen that before. But they are reviewing them. Yeah, at first he's obviously out. They're not even looking at that anymore because he's so obviously out. But at second base, that's the one that they're really checking out. Here's the call. Confirmed at second base, out. Confirmed, out. No overturns. Seattle has one challenge remaining. They missed both of those. Cal Raleigh is on third base with 2 outs. Josh Naylor is out at first base, and that brings up Jorge Polanco. Polanco with an opportunity to take the lead. Cal Raleigh hanging out on third base. Bottom of the 6th. Holton throws that one on the outside edge for strike 1. Batting .305 against lefties. Fewer home runs, but better batting average. Here's the pitch. He holds up on that one, low and outside. 1-1 is the count. Polanco's 0 for 2 today. 2 outs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Darryl says, yeehaw. I guess you're excited about that. Here's the pitch. 89 low and inside on the check swing, and they call it a strike. 1-2. You be the judge. Looked like a strike. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Holton. Cutter inside, fouls it off. Count remains 1-2. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside. Counts even, 2-2. What a game. It's a new game right now. 2-2. Polanco trying to give the Mariners the lead. Holton trying to hold him off. Is it into right field? Is that going to be caught? Yes. Parker Meadows makes the catch in right field, and that's going to end the inning. Man, with that double play. With that double play, the Tigers got really lucky there. Could have lost the lead. But J-Rod has owned the Tigers, single-handedly taking control of the scoring for the Mariners. He has a solo homer and an RBI, another RBI. He's the only one knocking in runs so far today for the Mariners. 6 hits for the Tigers, 4 for the Mariners, and we're tied at 2. No errors. Each team pretty solid on defense, making some really good and tough, stressful plays today. Edward Bizzardo might still be on the mound. We'll see. It depends on who's, what kind of strategy they want to go with. He only threw 3 pitches, 0.1 innings. Parker Meadows, who just made that catch out in right field, he'll be batting to lead it off in the top of the 7th, followed by top of the lineup, Gleyber Torres and Kerry Carpenter. Yeah, it might, unless, Daryl, the game might come down to the wire, unless it's like the Yankees-Blue Jays game, because in the 7th and the 8th, the Blue Jays just blew it up. So it might get blown up, but it could also come down to the wire. Now, if this particular game goes into extra innings, so be it. But I'd rather this game go into extra innings than a game go into extra innings tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a difficult day to go into extras. That's funny. This commercial they were showing, they asked one of the Dominican players, what do you think or what's the food like, the Dominican food like over in Canada? And he said, in Canada? I don't know. My wife always cooks for me. That's funny. It's sweet, but it's also funny. But if you're making millions of dollars a year playing baseball, you can more than likely afford to have your wife with you and let her cook. I doubt she has to really do anything. She can just take care of the home, take care of the kids, and watch you play baseball. Living the dream. Seattle has another reliever on the mound to face Parker Meadows. Gabe Spear. Almost said Gabe Spear, because that would be like Japanese style pronunciation. Gabe would be Gabe. First pitch is in there for strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. Strike 2. Meadows is 1 for 2 today. Oh yeah, they got tons of McDonald's over here. They got tons of McDonald's over here, all over the place. There's a McDonald's about 35 minutes from here. You might think, wow, that's quite a ways. What's because I live out in the countryside? There's no McDonald's around here. It's a good 35 minutes away. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, 86 miles an hour on the slider from inside out. Meadows swings and misses. 1 down. Gleyber Torres comes to the plate next. There's one thing about the McDonald's over here in Asia that I can't stand, because they mostly keep the menu very similar overall. They have the same fries, the Big Mac, the same double cheeseburgers, quarter pounder, etc., stuff like that. Ice cream, desserts. They even have the fried pies. But they also have some local stuff. 1 ball, no strikes to Torres. 1 for 3 with a double today. Off the wall, actually. 85-mile-per-hour pitch right in there. 1-1 is the count. But when you go there for breakfast, they have the McGriddles, but they don't have any biscuits. They just have the McMuffins and the McGriddles. They don't have any biscuits. I don't know what it is about Asia, but they don't have biscuits anywhere. They don't have them in the supermarket. They don't have them in the stores or the restaurants or the cafes. Nowhere do they have biscuits. If you want a biscuit, you're going to have to make it yourself at home, homemade. It's the only way you can get a biscuit here. Nuts. They got scones, but no biscuits. 97-mile-per-hour pitch, fouled away. 1-2, the count remains. If you go to Starbucks in Japan, you can get scones. But anyone who says a scone is a biscuit has never had a scone. Or has never had a biscuit. I've had both. They're not the same. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3. Lower inside corner. Torres barks at the umpire, and the umpire's like, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Man, he didn't like that. Look at him bark at the umpire here. Oh, they didn't show it there. They might show it here. Let's see. Here it is. Right after that, the umpire started shaking his head at him like, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. 96 low and inside. Called a strike. Kerry Carpenter didn't like that one. It looked like the same pitch they called him out on that last pitch on Torres. But it got the zone. It got that corner. A little outside. Ball 1. 1-1. 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gabe Spear on the mound. This will be his 10th pitch. No, the 11th pitch of the inning. Here comes the 1-1. Outside. Just a little bit. Maybe by an inch. 2 balls and 1 strike. No Bubba Gump fish burgers. Well, they got the Filet-O-Fish. But no Bubba Gump that I'm aware of. Here's a 2-1. That's hit up the middle. A bouncer right to the glove of Crawford, who throws it to first base. And that'll be out number 3. 1-2-3 for Gabe Spire and the Mariners in the top of the 7th. They'll come right back up for an opportunity to take the lead in the bottom of the 7th in just a moment, starting with Eugenio Suarez, followed by Dominic Canzon and Victor Robles. But that's another thing. I think a Bubba Gump place would not... They wouldn't be able to open a place like that in Japan, I think. The reason is because Japan already has so many seafood places, you know? Japan, I mean, it's obvious. Japan has no shortage of seafood places. So I don't think that a place like Bubba Gump would appeal. Any type of American seafood place probably wouldn't appeal to Japanese so much. What would be the point when they have so many places where they can go and have seafood and sushi? And the variety is so much more than you can possibly imagine. Even here in Hiroshima, obviously the standard Japanese staples such as sushi. There are tons of sushi places, of course, and lots of restaurants have fish. But it's beyond that. You have like squid balls. You have fried oysters. I mean, here in Hiroshima, one of the specialties is fried oysters. And in the U.S., the way that people usually eat oysters, they just like put horseradish on them and they just kind of gulp them down. I think that's nasty and disgusting, and I don't like it. But the oysters here in Hiroshima are fried, and then they put some toppings on there. The ones that I really like have like tomato sauce and cheese melted on top. They are really, really good. So I can eat the fried oysters in Hiroshima. They also have a kind of it's like a Japanese style pancake. It has a variety of things on it, like noodles and egg and seaweed and pork and some sauce and a mixture of things. And then they cook it on the teppanyaki flat top, and it's called okonomiyaki. And okonomiyaki is a special food. In Japan, there are 2 main types. There's the regular type of okonomiyaki, and then there's the Hiroshima style. Hiroshima style is much more filling. Very difficult to eat the whole thing. Maybe for the standard average American, it's fine. Most Americans, I think, can eat it. A lot of Westerners eat too much food. But since moving to Asia, the amount that I eat in a meal has gone down a lot. 88 miles an hour to Suarez, swing and a miss. Tommy Conley, or Canley, is in the game for the Tigers. The count's 0-1 to Suarez. Here's the toss. Ooh, big whiff. 88 mile per hour changeup. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes in the bottom of the 7th. Here is the pitch. In the dirt, 1-2. Thanks for putting your like on the live stream. I would appreciate it very much. If you would like it, if you have not done so already, I'll covet that right now. Change up outside. The count is even, 2-2. Suarez is 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. Got 27 likes and about 60 people watching, so I need about 15 or 20 more to get a good ratio. Low and outside, ball 3, full count. The crowd comes alive a little bit and starts cheering over that one. This game is tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Nobody on, nobody out. Here's the full count pitch. Suarez crushes it to left field, and is it going to drop? No, it's played. I said he crushes it. It kind of died. Maybe he got it off of the thin part of the bat. It looked a lot harder than it was. But the center fielder was able to get over there and get it. He cruised over there and picked it up. Meadows ran across the meadows to get that ball. Next batter up, Dominic Canzone. He hits the first pitch out to left field. Green is there. Out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Dominic Canzone is down, and Victor Robles comes up to the plate. Oh, Luke Raley is pinch hitting for Robles. Lefty. Here's the toss. Woo! Low and inside. That was a couple of inches below the zone. Called a strike. Batting average 202 for the season with a 631 OPS. Not very impressive, but this is like, I guess, the Mariners' Jacob Melton. He fouls that one off. Strike 2. When you just don't have a lot of left-handed options to bring in. You bring in Jacob Melton or Luke Raley. 0-2 is the count with 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Got him. 3-pitch strikeout. Yep, just like Jacob Melton. 3-pitch strikeout. Gabe Spear might be still on the mound for the Mariners. We'll see. The top of the 8th coming up. We're finished with 7 innings of ball. Spencer Torkelson on deck. Jahmai Jones. And in just a moment, we will see Riley Green at the plate. Let me switch over to the live scoreboard just for a moment. I'll be right back. I'm going to go in here, grab myself a little drink. I am parched, and I need something that's going to replenish me a little bit better than another cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Make sure you hit that like button. That like button, rather. Arigato. All right, here we go. I'm back. Got my pharmaceutical grade electrolyte drink. And I got back in time to see that first pitch. I don't like missing that first pitch of the inning. Daryl says I had pizza for dinner. The ump left his glasses at home. Yes, he did. Pizza for dinner. Man, I haven't had pizza in so long. I miss having some good pizza. I got a coupon a couple of days ago for 50% off a Domino's pizza. That's hit hard out into right field, way up in the air. The center fielder and the right fielder don't communicate. Rodriguez steps in front to take it. Luke Raley is the new guy in the game out in right field. And he tried to take that one, but Rodriguez cut in front of him. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and take Spear out of the game after that one out. Torkelson is due up. Riley Green flies out. And now they're going to go ahead and have a pitching change. George. As soon as I see the pitcher change on the screen, I was about to read it, but it shifted back to George Kirby. Can you imagine being able to bring in the starter, bring him back into the game? Can you imagine that? Spencer Torkelson is the next batter due up with one out, nobody on. I'm waiting for the update to see who's going to be pitching for the Mariners. Yeah, I was tempted to go to town a couple of days ago and order a large pizza and use that coupon. I could have eaten that pizza for 4 days, basically, by myself. But I just can't do that. Not in my health condition. That would be very bad. I guarantee after I eat that, I'll start having pains in my kidney. That's like tumor fuel. You know what I'm saying? Matt Brash is going to be the pitcher for the Mariners here in the top of the 8th with one out. Waiting for the commercials to end. How many people do we have watching right now? Got about 55. Thanks for being here. Did we get some more likes on the live stream? It was at 27. I would appreciate it if you'd go and leave a like. Right now, we're waiting for the new pitcher, Matt Brash, to finish warming up. And then he will be facing Spencer Torkelson, who is 0 for 3 today. We added 6 likes. That's not bad. That's not bad. if we can get this up to... I really would like to get this to 50 likes today. That would be my ideal, to get the live stream up to 50 likes. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you in advance. I really do mean that. It helps me out, helps me to grow the channel. 97 miles an hour by Brash on that first pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Even those of you who are not Astros fans, I do appreciate you joining in. Obviously, we're not here to watch the Astros today. 87 in the bottom of the zone, fouled off behind the plate. 0-2 to Torkelson. Strikeout, fly out, and a fielder's choice today. But no direct hits for Torkelson. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Low and outside. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did not. The crowd boos, but I think the ump got that right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hey, checking in from New Mexico. Thank you very much. Welcome from Hiroshima, Japan, on the other side of the earth. That had a lot of movement on it. Another identical pitch. Another slider low and away. That's a full count. 1 out, nobody on. Torkelson at the plate with a full count. Matt Brash on the mound. Here comes the next toss. Man, another one. Sinker, low and outside. Ball 4. 3 straight pitches, low and outside. What is Hinch pointing at? They're going to have a little mound visit right now. That's the first mound visit I've seen in a while. Even earlier today, I don't think I saw any mound visits. Just saw some pitching changes, but I don't remember seeing any mound visits by the pitching coach. All right, they break it up. Looks like they're ready to go. Winsil Perez is the pinch hitter. He is in for Jones, who was in for Keith. So the pinch hitter has replaced the DH twice. So the PH replaced the DH, and then the PH replaced the other PH. It's lefty on righty. 87 below the zone, ball 1. Runner on first base with 1 out. And you are welcome for the stream, by the way. If I didn't tell you, you're welcome earlier. And thank you for being here. I appreciate your support. Here comes a pitch. Low and outside. Strike 1. That looked like it was out of the zone, but the umpire said, me likey. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the next pitch to Perez. He grounds that one down the first base side. Slider right below the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Thanks, Daryl. Thanks for getting the like in. A cheese omelet? Oh, man, I make omelets almost every single day. But I cook them very lightly so that the yellow or the orange, inside the egg is still runny. If you overcook the middle of the egg, you won't get the vitamins out of it. Here's a pitch. That's hit hard to right field. It's pretty deep. All the way in the corner. It's foul, out of play. The right fielder just disappeared there. Did you see that? Perez almost hit a 2-run homer just now. That was deep. Take a look at this. Just a nice smooth swing. He got around too early on it. Here's the pitch. 99. Wow, just missed at the top of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's crazy. That's crazy. Raleigh out in right field, when he was running after that ball, he just disappeared in that little corner. Strike three, 97 miles an hour in that upper outer corner. After a scare, Matt Brash picks up the K, and that's 2 away. Wow. Here comes a pitch. 87 low and outside. The slider. 1 ball, no strikes. Dylan Dingler over 2 today. Runner on first. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Right in there. 86 mile per hour slider. Strike 1. The count's even. Some people say there's a magnet on the football in NFL. That's why it hits the post so much. 98 miles an hour on that outside edge, called strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The crowd is on their feet. Looking for a strikeout right here. The Tigers with a man on base. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Swing and a miss. 87 miles an hour. Low and outside. Got him chasing. Yes, he says. That commentator called the strikeout before the ball even got there. That's kind of crazy. The ball was still on the way when he said he struck him out. He struck him out. And then the ball crossed the plate and he swung and missed it. There must be a delay so that whenever they're calling the game, their comments line up more closely with what's happening in real time. That's kind of strange. I suppose I could do the same thing, but it's kind of unnecessary on my channel because it's not like I'm showing the whole game. I can't do that. Yeah, if we take a look at the statistics for the strikeouts for the Tigers and the Mariners, right now, the Mariners only struck out 5 times total through 7 innings. The Tigers, now according to the stats, it says 12 strikeouts, not 13. I don't know if that data has just not updated yet, but we'll see. Yeah, I think it's updated. I think it's right. I think it's just 12. Daryl says it's magic. Well, you never know. You know, if a baseball goes into the crowd in an MLB game, you can keep it. It's no big deal. But if a football in the NFL goes into the crowd, there's no way you can keep it. If you try to take it and run out of the stadium with it, they'll stop you. They'll get it from you. But there's been a lot of speculation as to what might be in some of these balls. Not all of them, but some of them, just to affect them. It's pretty interesting. It's funny because over time, it's more and more difficult to find those types of videos on YouTube. It's like they bury them, but they used to be easily viewable and used to pop up in my recommendations because I enjoy watching videos about stuff like that. It's just funny and interesting to watch. You never know what's going on in these games. But now it's like you search for it and it's difficult to find it. 97 on the inside to J.P. Crawford, strike 1. Crawford was shaking his head. I don't know why. That was clearly a strike. Kyle Finnegan on the mound for the Tigers. 0-1 count to Crawford. Here comes the toss. That's hit into center field. It's pretty deep. It might be gone. It's at the wall. No. Too bad for you, Crawford. He gave it a ride out to the warning track, but it died. Meadows put it away. Split right down the middle. He thought he had it. If he had pulled it, it would have been gone for sure. That's right, Daryl. It makes you wonder. You know, it gives you something to think about because there's so much crap that goes on in the world, you know? You never know what's true and what's fake, what's a show and what's entertainment and what's reality. Because reality TV is not reality. It's fake. It's scripted. Randy Rosarina at the plate. First pitch is a ball. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, rather. 86 at the bottom of the zone. Fouls it off at the plate. Nice hack. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, is Brian Wu a big strikeout guy? I mean, I know that he's not pitching right now, but he is a good pitcher. I guess he's the Mariners' best pitcher. But I don't know offhand if he's a big strikeout guy or not. I don't follow the team closely. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off. Rosarina has been pretty quiet today. 1 walk, a strikeout. He did score a run, but he has no hits. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He hits that out into right field. It's pretty deep, all the way back to the wall, and it's also caught at the warning track. Wow. J.P. Crawford and Randy Arozarena both ride the ball out to the warning track. Scary. Cal Raleigh is at the plate. Let's see if he's going to put it over. Here's the first pitch. Check swing strike. 89 miles an hour at the bottom of the zone. Well, I know that he had discomfort. I'm not saying that he was on. I don't think it matters if he's on the roster or not. Raleigh hits it out into left center field. He's going to have a single. So Raleigh doesn't crush the ball. He hits it off the end of the bat, sounds like. Mariners have the go-ahead run on first with 2 outs. And Julio Rodriguez, who had a solo homer earlier, comes to the plate with an opportunity to try to take the lead back. I wasn't talking about Wu being on the roster. I'm just saying, I was just talking about your comment. You said that the Mariners don't have a similar flamethrower. Wu is a good pitcher. Isn't he their best pitcher? How is he on strikeouts? First pitch is in there for a strike. Here's the next pitch to Rodriguez. Grounded foul down the third base side. It's 0-2. Oh and 2. Here's the pitch. Woo! How in the world did he take that one? 87 on the inside, called a ball. That was a dangerous pitch to take right there. Look how deep they're playing. Look at that. Wow. Here comes the 1-2 pitch with 2 outs and Cal Raleigh on first. Broken bat, line drive, rip foul down the third baseline. Wow. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch from Finnegan. Outside, good take. 97-mile-per-hour fastball. It's even 2-2. What's the ump smoking? Sometimes he gets it right, and sometimes it's questionable, but it's pretty close. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Oh, he chased. He chased. Finnegan gets him to go after the garbage. Rodriguez channels his inner Yainer Diaz and chases a pitch way outside and in the dirt. When I see that, all I can see in my mind is Yainer Diaz. The ball is way outside in the dirt, and he chases it and misses it to strike out. I feel like I'm watching Yainer Diaz at the plate. Yep, he went deep sea fishing, but he had the wrong equipment. Comes up with nothing. I always think of those as, actually, if it's in the dirt, right over the plate, but in the dirt, and they swing and miss at it, that's like golfing, hitting out of a sand trap. But swinging at that garbage way outside and in the dirt, it's so amateurish. And when you see a really good hitter like that chase, it's just crazy. Just crazy. 6 hits for the Tigers, 5 for the Mariners. It's 2-2. And we are finished with 8 innings of ball, guys and gals. It is the 9th inning. How about a little music to get it cranked up for the 9th inning?
You don't need a map, don't need no plan. No traffic here, just a different kind of jam. Just follow your feeling, not the public signs. I see you circling my block, I know I'm on your mind. No split, no U-turn, no toll to pay. Ain't no lanes, no law to slow your way. For you the light is always green. Red is felt, not seen, you know what I mean. Turn right at the light, turn right at the light. If you want to get to the right place tonight, turn right at the light, turn right at the light.
Andres Munoz is going to be pitching for the Mariners in the 9th inning. Zach McKinstry is due up, followed by Javier Baez and Parker Meadows. Oh, yeah. Yep, it's anybody's game. It didn't go like the Yankees game, did it? The Yankees game got out of control when the Blue Jays started hitting like crazy in the 7th and the 8th, but neither team has done that so far here. Pitchers game. Pitchers match. Rubber match.
No more circle in the block, just turn right at the light, turn right at the light. If you want to get to the right place tonight, turn right at the light, turn right at the light.
Andres Munoz.
If you want to be in the right place tonight.
Well, here we go. The very first pitch to McKinstry is hit onto left field and put away by Rodriguez. No, I'm sorry. Yes, sirree. That's right. Rodriguez is out in left field. That's a Rosarena. My bad. A Rosarena puts the very first pitch away out in left field for out number 1 on the fly ball. And the Tigers are down to 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Javier Baez at the plate. Ball 1 on the slider. MLB save leaders. Andres Munoz is third behind just 2 pitchers. Swing and a miss. 83 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Daryl's pulling for the Tigers. I'm surprised that the Tigers stayed in it like this. They're showing some highlights of Baez hitting a go-ahead homer. The count's 1-2 right now. Here's the pitch. Line drive straight at Suarez at third base, and he makes the catch. Nice nab. 2 down. Missed a big opportunity right there. 101 miles an hour. Caught it just off the ground. I made a catch like that when I was playing in Tokyo a few years ago. I caught it, picked it up, and lobbed it back to the pitcher. And whenever I came off the field later, the coach of our team said, you know, when it hits the ground like that, you still have to throw it to first base. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, when it hits the ground like that, are you talking about? And I said, are you talking about the ball that I just caught? Yeah. I said, that was a line drive. I caught that in the air. And he said, no, it hit the ground. And I said, I'm the one who caught it. I think I know. I said, you need to get better glasses, because he was wearing glasses. 1 ball, 1 strike to Parker Meadows. Andres Munoz on the mound with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Tigers are down to 1 strike here in the top of the 9th. This game is tied. This is their last opportunity to try to get another run on the board before giving the Mariners an opportunity to walk it off. That's in the dirt. The slider missing. He doesn't chase it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Back towards Munoz. Holy cow, he caught it. Line drive, and somehow Munoz caught it. How in the world did he catch that ball? Meadows throws away his bat in disgust. He just flips it. Did you see that? How in the world did he catch that? What a play. Munoz doing it on pitching and defense. What a catch. Good catch at third base by Suarez, and then a good catch by Munoz on the mound. And that's it for the Tigers. If the Mariners score just 1 more run, that's all they need to walk this game off at home in Seattle. 6 hits for the Tigers through 9 innings. 5 hits. Oh, man, I missed those. Ice cream in the helmets. Oh, that brings back memories. 5 hits for the Mariners in 8 innings. The bottom of the 9th coming up. Josh Naylor, who's 0 for 2 today, is due up, followed by Jorge Polanco and Eugenio Suarez. We've got a few dangerous hitters. Any one of these guys could put one over the fence and end the game. We'll see. Interested to see who Hinch has picked out to pitch the 9th inning. Is he going to stay with Finnegan or pull up somebody else? We'll find out. We'll find out. How many people are listening in right now at the end of the game? 68. 1 more, and we'll have the perfect number. Oh, we just jumped to 72. That's nice. Got a little bit of a break. I'm sure that I'll be able to talk after I practice a little bit. It has been a long day. This is my 2nd game today. Man, tomorrow's going to be even longer. 9 hours of live streaming, 3 games to do tomorrow. But I got to do it. Can't let my channel go stale. Got to stay at it. Got to keep going. I got to keep on moving. Yeah, Daryl, good question. How did he pull that off? Will Vest. I'm not surprised. Will Vest is on the mound for the Tigers. He will be facing Josh Naylor to lead it off. Definitely, JD. Thank you so much. Hit that like button on the stream, folks. I really could use it. My goal is to get over 50 today. First pitch is hit out into left field. Baez floats out and grabs it for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Man, Naylor hasn't done anything this game. He has a walk, but with the bat, he hasn't been able to actually produce anything. Crazy. Let me refresh the screen here. Let's see how many likes we have. Did we get over 50? I certainly hope so. We got to 40. We still need 10 more likes, guys and gals. 97 right on the outside edge to Jorge Polanco. Oh, and 1 is the count with 1 out. This is hit high in the air. Should be an easy play on the infield. Baez takes it. 2 up and 2 down. It comes down to Eugenio Suarez. Bottom of the 9th. The Mariners' last opportunity right now to walk it off against Will Vest. Carroll says 3 up and 3 down. We'll see. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, ball 1. Suarez also has done nothing today. No walks, no hits, 1 strikeout. Here's the pitch. 96 right in there. Strike 1. 1-1. Help me out on the live stream, folks. Just a few more to get to 50. Give me a thumbs up. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 miles an hour right in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mariners down to 1 strike, or we're going to have extra innings. You guys going to do this to me? 97 miles an hour right in there. Got him looking. Suarez goes down on strikes. The second strike out of the game. This one to Will Vest. 9 innings of ball, folks. And we're going to have a 10th inning coming up. It's 2-2. We're practically even right now. 6 hits for the Tigers, 5 for the Mariners, 2 runs each. But let's take a look at the tail of the tape as it relates to runners left on base, because this is where it really matters. Now, those of you who know me know that I don't pay much attention to the runners stranded at the end of the inning. I pay attention to what I call lobsters, and lobsters are the runners that are left on base that are not moved over at all. So if you have a guy on first base and no outs and a batter comes up and strikes out, that counts as 1 lobster. Do you understand? So you didn't move the guy over and you didn't bring him home. So if you can at least move the runner over, or if you yourself can get on base somehow, then you won't have a lobster. So I'm gonna start a poll just to see how much you've been paying attention to the game. How many lobsters do the Tigers have? Okay, let's start with the Tigers. And this is so far in the game. There we go. I won't tell you the answer until after we get some votes on it. So how many guys did the Tigers leave on base in the 9 innings of the game, in the 9 innings of regulation? Did they leave on base and not move around at all? Was it 6, 9, 13, or 17? After we're finished with this, we will try the same thing with the Tigers. I'm sorry, the Mariners. Andres Munoz back on the mound for the Mariners. Here comes the next pitch. Gleyber Torres at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. That's hit out into left field. The line drive caught. Arozarena is right there. One up and one down. No runner on second base, by the way, for those of you who don't know this. There is no runner on second base for these extras. That's in the dirt. Kerry Carpenter at the plate with the 1-0 pitch, or 1-0 count, rather. Here comes the pitch in the dirt. 2-0. No, that was called a strike. Wow, this umpire is smoking something. I'm shocked. 1-1, the count is even with one out. Here comes the pitch. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. At the end of the top of the 10th, I will close the poll and give you the answer. And then I will reopen the poll for the Mariners. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 85 low and inside. The count is now even. Carpenter 1 for 4 today. The crowd on their feet looking for a strikeout. That's in the dirt. Full count. Suddenly having trouble clearing my throat. Here's the pitch. 86 in the bottom of the zone. He thought that was going to be ball 4. But that was strike 3. Perfectly placed in the bottom of the zone. Out number 2. Right at the knees, man. Here comes the first pitch to Riley Green. That's in there. 86-mile-per-hour slider. Green is 2 for 4 with a couple of singles today. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. High fastball. He holds his bat, and that's 1-1. 35 wins to 5 losses. And then they were swept. Yeah, that's the thing. Anything can happen in baseball. 2 balls and 1 strike with that pitch. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 10th. Munoz trying to shut it down. 85 miles an hour. Misses on the outside. It's 3-1. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. He fouls it off. That could have been ball 4. Full count. The crowd is cheering. Last opportunity for the Tigers in the top of the 10th. With the full count, here's the toss. Green swings and misses. This is the first time Munoz, I believe, has recorded 6 outs for the Mariners the entire season. 3 up and 3 down in the 10th. Mariners have another chance to walk it off in the 10th. What a crazy game. Okay, we're going to end the poll right there. The poll question is, how many lobsters do the Tigers have? And what it means is, I'll explain it one more time briefly. How many times did they have a guy on base and they failed to move him around, or failed to get a hit, or failed to get on base? How many times? 6 times, 9 times, 13 times, or 17 times? I'm going to end the poll in 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. And it's ended. Okay, so let's take a look at your votes. 38% of you say 6. 38% say 17. So there's a tie between 17 and 6. 24% say 9, and none of you said 13. That's interesting. That none of you said 13. But the answer is 17. Just so you know. That's how many guys were on base that were failed to be moved around by the Tigers in this game. 17. 17. So they have done a terrible, terrible job today scoring their base runners. Now it's time to do the Mariners. There we go. Same question. How many lobsters did the Mariners have? 3, 5, 7, or 9? It's the bottom of the ninth. Dominic Canzone is at the plate. He fouls it off on the first base side. Will Vest is still in the game for the Mariners. I'm sorry, for the Tigers. Here's a toss. This is bounced to the second baseman. Torres throws it over to first base. No problem. 1 up and 1 down. Luke Raley is due up next, followed by J.P. Crawford. Here comes a pitch. 96 miles per hour at the bottom of the zone, strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 88 up and inside on the slider. He fouls it off the fists. 0-2 is the count to Raley. Let me refresh the page here and see how many likes we have. Did we get to 50 yet? We are 4 likes away from 50. This is fouled back. The fastball. 0-2. The count remains. We've got 82 people following along right now. Thanks for joining. Make sure you like the live stream. My goal for today is to just get the live stream over 50 likes. Here's the pitch. Low and inside in the dirt. 1-2. Went out, nobody on. I said, bring a little baby to the ballpark. I hope it has some earplugs. Here's the pitch. Raley hits it way up in the air on the infield. McKinstry is in. He puts it away. 2 up and 2 down. So in the 10th inning, it comes down to J.P. Crawford, the 9th guy in the batting order. Crawford had a deep drive all the way to the warning track in center field. Two groundouts today and a flyout. He's 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. Little outside, ball 1 on the fastball. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. 96 miles an hour. 1-1 with 2 outs. Nobody on for Crawford. Vest up to 16 pitches, 13 in the zone. So he's attacking the zone. The 1-1 pitch to Crawford on the way. Way up high. The elevator goes to the top floor. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bullpen less tomorrow with Scooble, maybe. You never know. Here's the pitch. Right in there, 96 miles an hour, but Crawford fouls it back. Can't get a solid hit on it. The count's even 2-2 with 2 outs. 91 people watching. I might get to that 100 mark. I'd love to get to the 100 mark tonight. It sure would be nice. We'll see. I say tonight. For me, it's morning. Well, it's afternoon now, actually. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 97. Another one upstairs. And Vest gets the strikeout. He just burns it by Crawford. Could have let it go for a strike, but he just couldn't lay off. We're going to go into the 11th inning. And we're going to end the poll. My poll question for the 9th inning, the bottom of the 9th, was about the Mariners. If you haven't voted on it yet, you can take a vote. The question is, how many lobsters did the Mariners have in 9 innings? What it means is, how many times did they have somebody on base and they weren't able to move them around or get a hit or get a walk? In other words, there was a man on base and a batter came up and basically the batter got out and wasn't able to move the runner around at all. How many times did the Mariners do that through the first 9 innings of this game? Was it 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, or 9 times? I'm going to close the poll in just a few seconds, so if you haven't voted, there are only 6 votes on it right now. If you have not voted on it, please do that right quick. And we'll see who's right. I will close the poll in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm closing the poll. Okay, so your votes. Where are the votes? Why didn't it show the votes? Let me refresh the screen. Maybe it'll show it. I don't know why it's not showing the result of the poll. There it is. I had to refresh the screen. How many lobsters did the Mariners have in 9 innings? 33% are tied between 5 and 7. 3 of you and 9 of you, I'm sorry, 17% of you also tied between 3 and 9. The answer is 7. So the Mariners actually didn't have very many guys left on base. They just haven't put many base runners on. The Tigers have put a lot of base runners on and just haven't scored. First pitch to Torkelson is fouled off down the third baseline. Carlos Vargas is on the mound for the Mariners. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Low. 1 ball, 1 strike. JD says, well, go. At least you make more money with extra innings. Well, depending on how many extra innings it is, it might be $1. I might make an extra $1, but nobody has given me any super chats or donations today. So that's where the main money comes from. People donating, sending me a PayPal donation, especially those are the best because they take out the least. But super chats, super stickers, buy me a coffee, all of those things. 100 miles an hour way outside. Ball 2, 2-1. Looks like his necklace broke. His clasp came off. There comes the pitch. I remember that happening to Fromber one day. This is a foul ball out into the left side, and it's going to float into the crowd. The count is 2-2 to Torkelson, with nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 11th. Yeah, I'd say that my subscribers for the Astros games are much more involved and generous with donating. Otherwise, people are just here viewing. That's in the dirt. Full count. Vargas and Torkelson having a little bit of a standoff right now. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Bounced foul down the third base side. The count remains full. I'm not really sure why they would bunt right now with nobody on. Unless the guy's really fast. I mean, Altuve could do like the really quick bunt, you know, surprise bunt and run to first. Up and in, ball 4. So Torkelson wins that battle with Carlos Vargas and draws the full count walk. A really good at bat for him. AJ Hinch is taking notes. Is he playing maybe he's doing a crossword puzzle over there. That's probably what he's doing. At his age, that's probably what he's doing. Yeah, that was my question. Maybe a bunt now, but not a bunt right off the bat. It depends on where they're playing on the field, though. That's another thing. We don't know how deep or shallow they're playing. If they're playing shallow, you don't want to bunt right there. 1-0 is the count. Raleigh's going to call a timeout and head out to the mound. Make sure that they're on the same page. Yeah, I think that the jewelry thing during a game is stupid. Look at all these guys. Every single one of them, they're wearing like earrings. Pitcher's got 2 earrings on both ears. I think Naylor also has earrings on both ears. They've got chains on and tons of tattoos. I mean, what other career can you have where you go out to play a game, you can spit on the field, you can constantly be chewing dip or bubble gum or chewing and spitting out sunflower seeds, scratching yourself, wearing tons of chains and tattoos, and still get paid millions of dollars a year? What other career can you do that in? Just baseball. Can't even really do that in football. A little foul ball there, and it's 1-1. Winsil Perez at the plate, 100 miles an hour, and that one goes off of Cal Raleigh's mask. He's going to need a moment to recover from that. He seems all right. Take a look at this. Boom. 100 off the face mask. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's rubbing his jaw there. 1-2 to Perez. In the dirt, it gets away. Runner's going to go to second. Torkelson is now on second base in scoring position with no outs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Winsil Perez. JD says, a Rosarena wears a chain you could anchor a boat with. Yeah, I've seen some guys wearing multiple chains. It's just stupid. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt. Three and two. Sacrifice Hal. It's 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Nice pitch. First strikeout for Vargas and first out of the inning. Runner on second with 1 down. Dylan Dingler due up next. When you say sacrifice, what are you talking about? Are you talking about a bunt? Why would he bunt with a full count? That would not be a good call. Now, if he had bunted earlier, that would have made sense. 99 on the lower outside edge, called a strike. Right in the corner. Dingler is not sure about that. He talks to the umpire about it, but the umpire's like, yep, it's a strike. 0-3, or 0-4-3 is Dingler. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss, up and in. 97-mile-per-hour heat from Vargas. 0-2 is the count. Dingler is down. Crowd comes to their feet. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Whoa, way outside, 100 miles an hour. Raleigh had to throw his glove out there to catch that. 1-2 is the count. One and two pitch on the way from Vargas. Swing and a miss. Got another strikeout. 97-mile-per-hour cutter on the outside. Dingler went after it. Couldn't get it. 0 for 4 today. Zach McKinstry is due up next. 0 for 4 today. 2 strikeouts, 2 flyouts. Here's the toss. This is hit up the middle, and that's going to be a base up hit. Now score a run. A hit up the middle. It's 3-2 Tigers. McKinstry does it on the very first pitch. Right up the middle. Three to 2 Tigers on a broken bat. 73 miles an hour exit velocity. Just right past the glove of Vargas. Just barely missed it. A slow roller right up the middle. There was absolutely no hope of throwing him out at home. And now they're trying to steal second. It looks like he's in there. McKinstry still second base. So with 2 outs, the Tigers have another runner in scoring position with a 1-0 count to Javier Baez. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 at the top of the zone. 1-1's the count. JD, you said I called it. You called what? Here's the pitch. Safe where? Oh, are you talking about his second base? I didn't see a call. I didn't see anything. That's why I was wondering, you called what? I didn't see anything. 96 up and in, fouled off. The count is 1-2 to Baez. McKinstry on second base with 2 outs. Detroit has the lead 3-2. Now the Mariners find themselves down in the 11th inning. Here's the pitch. Popped up high in the air on the right side. Is it going to be in play? Naylor's over. He runs out of room, and it's right over the net. Well, Daryl, I think you had a 50-50 chance of getting it right, but the game isn't over, so you're not right yet. You're still not correct. They're winning, but they haven't won. That's a little different. Here's the 1-2 pitch. You got to wait until it's over. Here's the hit up the middle, and it's fired over to first for out number 3. The Tigers managed to get 1 run here in the 11th inning. I was about to say the 9th. But now the Mariners have the top of their batting order due up to try to come back in this game and get 1 run to tie it or 2 runs to win it. Are they able to do it? They haven't scored a run in 4 innings. They scored 1 in the 6th, and since then they put up nothing but goose eggs. Randy Arozarena is going to lead it off for the Mariners. The very top of the Mariners batting order, then Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez. So the most dangerous batters are due up. in the bottom of the 11th. JD says, "Is it over, Daryl?" Yeah, you're calling it preemptively. Ugh. I thought maybe you were talking about them getting a run in the inning, but I was looking through the chat and I was like, "Where did you call that run? I didn't see that." I would have seen that. Goodness gracious me. 108 people. All right. Thank you, guys and gals. It took extra innings, but we got over 100 views. We're on break right now. There's a commercial going. The Mariners will be up at the plate in just a few moments to try to come back here in the bottom of the 11th. Will they be able to do it? Maybe they can. We will find out shortly. I'm very happy with the live stream today. It did take extra innings, but we got over 100 people watching simultaneously at our peak, and we got over 60 likes. My goal was to get over 50. So, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Cater Montero, or is it Kiter? 20 games, 5-3 with a 4.37 ERA. Pitching for the Tigers. He's never had a save in the major leagues. He's a starting pitcher. But they brought him in for the save. He's going to be facing a Rosarena to start it off. Here we go, guys and gals. First pitch at the bottom of the 11th. 95 inside, strike one. This crowd is really quiet, and they got the shoes on the heads. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Right in there, 97 on the outside. So 97 on the inside, 97 on the outside. He's working the edges. 0-2. On the way. In the dirt. Ball one. 1-2. Thanks, JD. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Thank you for being here. One ball, two strikes. Here's the pitch from Montero. Swinging a foul tip. Barely got a piece of it. Fouls it off at the plate. And it trickles behind the umpire. The count remains 1-2. Here's the question that I have for you guys and gals. Will the Mariners break down in the playoffs as they have been doing over the past how many years? Or will they muscle through? We'll see. I think this game right here is very important for them right now. Pitch outside. It's 2-2 to Rosarena. Montero gets the call he wants. Here comes the toss. Bouncer to the left side. Third baseman cuts it off. McKinstry fires it over to first and gets the first out. Tigers 2 away from winning the game. I wouldn't say that it's really stealing a game, though, because the Mariners haven't been getting guys on base. They only have 5 hits. Here's a pitch. Raleigh hits the first pitch into foul territory, and McKinstry's got it. Big out right there. Raleigh took a hack at it, and he fouls out into foul territory. Got too far underneath it. It all comes down to Julio Rodriguez. J-Rod had a solo homer in the 4th inning to give the Mariners the lead, and he had an RBI in the 6th to tie it up. A home run, a single, and 2 RBIs. He has driven in every single Mariners run this game. Without his offense, the Mariners have nothing. And it's down to him with 2 outs. First pitch from Montero is on the way. Rodriguez takes 97 right down the middle for strike 1. Here comes a pitch. That's on the ground and through the middle. Rodriguez is on with a hit up the middle. So the tying run is at first base for the Mariners with Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor has 1 walk this game and no hits. Six hits now for the Mariners. 3 of those come from Julio himself. Here comes the first pitch to Naylor. Breaking ball at the top of the zone. Man, that was a little high. He didn't much like it, but it is strike 1. A walk in the first inning, and since then, nothing. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fouled back on the 89-mile-per-hour changeup. 1 strike away, the Tigers are from winning the game. Bottom of the 11th. Before the game is over, I just want to say thank you for everyone who came in, for your likes, subscriptions, chats, etc., etc. Naylor steps out of the box for a moment. The count is 0-2 with 2 outs. Rodriguez on first base. This is the Mariners' last opportunity as it stands right now. Here's the pitch from Kiter Montero. It's on the ground to the right side, and it's going to be an out. First baseman grabs it and steps on first base, and that is it. The Tigers take Game 1 in Seattle. 3-2. This was an amazing game. A low-scoring, amazing game. The Tigers wind up leaving 20 men on. 20 men on base, but they scored just enough runs to win. The same thing they did to the Guardians. Got a lot of guys on base, but only score a few runs. The Mariners, however, barely get any runners on base. Without J-Rod, sad face. Without J-Rod today, the Mariners don't have any runs. Can you believe that? That's nuts. Sail it away. Yeah, I still think that the Mariners are going to win the series. I think that this was probably the one game that the Tigers had the best chance to win, and they really got lucky. Like I said, I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. My feeling about the Mariners is that if they've got a few guys in the lineup, just even half their guys getting some hits, they can easily win. But today, they only had one guy. Literally just one guy, their star, their main star. You can say Cal Raleigh is their main star if you want, or you can say, Rosarena, or you can say whoever, but Rodriguez is their star. In the series right now, or in the postseason, his batting average is like 600. His OPS is 1.8. That's absolutely nuts. In this game, he's the only one who has any RBIs. Without him, they did absolutely nothing. It's crazy. You got to have more than one guy contributing. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. I got 3 games to do tomorrow, guys and gals, so I'm going to try to get some rest today. But we've got the Yankees-Blue Jays game 2, so please join me for that. Then we've got the Mariners-Tigers game 2. And then before all of that, actually had the Ravens game. So I hope you can join me for one or all of those if you got that much time. Rusty Gamer, thank you so much, sir. Rusty Gamers comes in with the $20 super chat and says, arbitrary extra inning super chat. Great streams today, Brandon. Thank you so much, Rusty. You are much appreciated, sir. That's the first super chat I've gotten all day long. 6 hours of baseball and one super chat. So I really do appreciate that. That's awesome. I look forward to being back here tomorrow. Let me put a reply on that. Let's give this a long, silly name. Rusty Gamer, this is the super duper awesome super chat number 1. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Much appreciated. Definitely can use that. Now all I need to do is rest my voice and get something to munch on, take a break, clean up a little bit, and then I'm going to try to get to bed as early as possible. I'm going to try to go and sleep as early as I can. I hope to see you all for the Houston Texans game if you are interested in that. And if not, I will see you for the Yankees Blue Jays game. And if I don't see you for that, I hope to see you back for game 2 of this series, the Mariners and the Tigers. But for now, that's about all I have for you. Shoot'em says, I haven't checked in since the Astros got eliminated. Go Detroit. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Detroit go. I just didn't think that they would be able to. But today, they pulled one out. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Rusty Gamer says, looking forward to the streams tomorrow. Rest well, my friend. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really long day tomorrow. So I think today I'm going to try to pick up some special treats for myself so I can have something during the game. I'm not going to have time to cook tomorrow during between the games. So I'm going to try to get some special snacks for myself. Daryl, thank you for being here. You take care as well. Everyone who took part in the chat, all of the likes, the subscriptions, and especially that super chat from Rusty Gamer. Thank you very much. I am going to go ahead and hop off of here and try to get myself refreshed. I might go outside and take an outdoor shower, and then I will be getting myself rested and prepared for the long day ahead tomorrow. But that's it. Once again, thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu and otsukare-sama desu. It means thank you for your hard work. I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And I look forward to seeing you for more playoff baseball and Texans football tomorrow. And I'm going to sign off for now. Sayonara. Bye-bye.